Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. We are thrilled to be here with you for our reunion show. This is truly a celebration of our VIP members who continue to give back not only here on this platform, but across the world. We want to say a big thank you to all of our loyal followers who are on social media, especially our 2 YouTube channels. And hello and thank you to our new viewers on Roku Worldwide, Amazon Fire, and Zizzle TV. We have the founder of Zizzle TV with us here today. We'll be hearing more all about the platform that he has created. But first, let's welcome my co-host. She is a very dear friend. She's been with me since the very beginning. She's a soul heart awakening coach. She's also an author. We've co-authored books together. She is a vocal coach, and she is someone who really sees life through a different set of eyes, which I love. Let's welcome Dr. Madeline Chan to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. Hello, everyone. And what an exciting program it's going to be today. Oh,
absolutely. You know, I mentioned that you look at things really with a childlike essence. And I've learned so much about you because I'm so structured and disciplined and staying in my lane. And just from being friends with you, I realize you've got to let it go and you've got to play and enjoy life.
Get with that star child, that inner child, and let it come out to play in that, human body. Yeah, exactly. I can see actually, because the way that you are, the way that you're wearing your different ornamentation in your hair, and your hair all girly, and oh my God, you get so feminine. It's so sweet.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, we've got some incredible people who are here today to share their work and what they're doing and their contributions. And we're going to hear from you a little bit later in the program. So thank you for taking the time to be here with me today. By the way, you're joining us from the United Kingdom, and people are very able to reach out to you. You help people write their own songs, and you help people express themselves through their voice. And we can get into that later in the program. But first, we've got Ann Scotland backstage. Ann is truly a dynamo when it comes to everything in the world of television and radio. She herself is an actress, and she has her own program. She actually has, I think, 4 programs, the 2 that are current and the 2 that are in the archives here on USA Global TV and Radio. So I'm thrilled that she's joining us today. She's also an author. She's also a coach. She really is a leader when it comes to inspiring women and empowering people to bring out the best of themselves. Let's welcome from California, Ann Scotland, the podcast maestro. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Madeline. Hi, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Jacqueline.
You are so welcome. You know, I love watching your programs because you're so professional. From what you're wearing, the way you look, the way you speak, all of it just exudes confidence and somebody who has extensive experience. And I just want to thank you for bringing all that you have created into our platform too. And I'm sure there's more to come.
Yay. Well, that is all because of you, Jacqueline. You have been absolutely amazing and instrumental in making this happen, constantly motivating me. We get to have great technical chats. It's wonderful. So absolutely thrilled to be here. And yeah, with the 4th program, you're absolutely right. So we have 2 streaming currently, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's very
Well, Anne, I
important.
want to just say publicly, thank you, because you were the one who said to me, why don't you have your own Roku channel, your own Amazon channel, your own Apple? I'm like, yes, what a brilliant idea. So thank you for reaching out and suggesting that. And I went ahead and the path was not simple. I will tell you that much. There's a lot involved with it, but thank you again for your support. So we're going to turn over the stage to you for you to share with our audience the value that you can bring and how you can help people. So enjoy your time in the spotlight.
Okay, I'm going to turn on my timer because I like to talk. So let us get started here. When you hear the crickets, it's over. Wait, okay. I know I saw some of you backstage. Hi, Kirk. Hi, everyone who's here. Thank you so much for being here today. And as JACALYN said, she and I have had such a fabulous opportunity to work together in so many ways. And we both are just so passionate about bringing you content. She has really just been the front runner in getting us all streaming in the live shows, in anchoring so many shows. So I'm super proud of all that she's accomplished and however we can help contribute to each other, I'm excited about. And to all of you. If you're watching, it probably means you either have your own show or you're thinking about it or you're somehow else involved. So if there's any way I can help support you, let me know. You're going to have all my information. It's just my name.com. So AnnScotland.com. You'll be able to find me. So let's see. So today, I just wanted to share a couple of things. I wanted to give you a little value added first before I jump into what I'm doing currently, my most recent endeavor, and is really becoming the prime hub of my entire business, which is the Podcast Maestro. I'll tell you more about that. I love this because it's something that I can do to support JACALYN and vice versa. She's the queen of the network. And for people who are interested in streaming, video streaming, this is the platform to do it. If someone is wanting to do a podcast and they've always wanted to go video, but they have a lot of questions, they don't even know where to start, whether it's just a video podcast or whether you're also on a platform like this, streaming live TV, then that's where I can come in and be extremely helpful. And you don't just have to parse it out. So, but first of all, let's jump into remembering our achievements at all times, because I know sometimes we can wake up in the morning and be like, especially when we're entrepreneurs, sometimes it takes so much extra work, but it's so rewarding in the end. I'm gonna jump over to here's me when I climbed Mount Whitney a couple years ago. Just because there's no snow doesn't mean it was easy. Although I have climbed Mount Rainier in Seattle, and that was actually snow and ice and crevasses. So that was even very exciting. But I'm always like, go for the best, go for the top. If you're going to do it all the way. So what I wanted to do was just give you a couple of minutes here in case you're considering a streaming TV show or podcasting, or if you're even just in business for yourself. What are some tips and tools you can use to help keep your branding consistent and appealing? And some of these are going to be old hat for many of you, but if you're newer to this process, hopefully this will be something useful. So one of the things that we find tried and true in all brands is color recognition, name recognition, branding recognition. And I know that a lot of people just starting out in streaming, video streaming or podcasting, or even entrepreneurs and authors doing other things as their primary focus, we often tend to forget how important bringing that visual awareness to people is in reminding them who we are and that they're in a great space. I like to say I create an and space. So no matter what platform people are on, whether it's USA Global TV or my website or Facebook, when they see me and they see my thumbnails, my branding, they're like, I'm in Ann's space. And I like to create a bright, light, warm environment. That's kind of who I am. And that's the environment that makes me happy. So that's what I share with you. So the colors that you can see here are, very basic colors. And this is basic branding 101, but it's sticking with it. That's the trick. If your website, and I didn't even share my screen. So you're all probably wondering, what in the world is she talking about? Okay, here we go. Share the screen. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. This will make so much more sense now. There I was on Mount Whitney. Okay, you saw it, done that. 4,500 feet. On your website, you want to make sure that your show, your podcast, your book, whatever you're putting out there is all branded accordingly. Color coding is so incredibly important. You can see here, my primary colors are a really vibrant blue, white, and with gold accents. And you can see this everywhere, from the shirt to the font, my hair technically, to my logo for Podcast Maestro, awards. Even I get excited when something like Twitter comes in and makes it helpful because the colors are the same. And I want to remember when I'm creating a show, when I'm creating thumbnails for my show, or when I'm creating a show from scratch for new clients, a new podcast, I want to revisit all of that and make sure that when someone comes to your show, they know they're in your space and they're instantly like, oh, this is, yeah, I'm in whoever's space, right? So that really makes a big difference. And you want to keep it consistent throughout. Well, what about LinkedIn? Well, okay, here I am live on LinkedIn right now. Hello, LinkedIn. I think I'm a little bit behind, but it's because I'm sharing my screen. So normally I have a heading here with very similar colors, which you can't particularly see today, but that is awesome because it's live. Twitter even, it's different. I have this on black background, so you can't, it looks a little better on the white background. But again, the colors are still consistent, even what I wear. Now, I know that's a bit much for some people, and I don't blame you. But for me, it's fun, right? So you see here, blue, blue, gold, blue, gold, gold, blue, blue. Twitter's blue, X is blue. So keeping that consistency is really helpful. And as you know, and there are some fantastic banners on the shows here on USA Global TV. Having that consistency throughout really helps people feel comfortable in your space. If they've just only ever been on my website or my Instagram, and then they pop over into USA Global TV, they're instantly like, again, still in the space. Consistency throughout. Even if you have nuances of different brands and different shows, it's good to have as much consistency as possible. Now that can change a little bit when you're co-hosting and you're sharing brands, and I'm going to talk about that right now. So, for example, here for the moment, I have been just consistently using the same thumbnail for a newer show so that people always know exactly what they see. Once you have more recognition of the show, then it's, I think, fun to switch it up and start doing a variety. And hopefully I didn't lose that one. Okay, well, we'll just talk about Tim Ferriss first. All right, so to show you and demonstrate a very successful podcast / show, his colors, really basic. Nothing fancy, no massive ego trip going on here, but you can see, and usually he was wearing a blue shirt, but he's got this sort of blue, yellow, and the black colors, the black or gray. Again, random thumbnail, blue, yellow, black with the white accents. Again, he didn't do this on accident. I promise you, when he saw a wall that was yellow, blue jeans. So you see how there is consistency across all the platforms. His books, the famous one, 4-Hour Workweek, right? And this is one of the more recent editions where I can tell that his publisher said, we need to rebrand the colors, same cover, different colors to match his overall branding and feel. I don't know who that was supposed to be. So, oh, well. And even one of his newer books, Tribe of Mentors, I think this one was the one from 2017, keeping that consistent. Even here, I know this is genuinely probably an accident, but what do you see? Blue, yellow, black. I'm serious. Like, it is a thing. And while I say clothes is a little bit much, for those of you who have fun with it, remember that every time you dress in a way that reflects your colors, your theme, your branding, your overall presentation, you're doing yourself a favor, and you're doing your viewers, listeners, followers a favor, because they're just in your happy space, right? Even here on Facebook when he's being funny. Look, he's got the Van Gogh going, but he's still got blue, gold, black, right? So you can kind of see how that works. Another podcast I love, How I Built This, very well-known podcast. I'm sure you know it, with Guy Raz from NPR, talking about businesses, startup businesses, entrepreneurs, and talking to those who have really made it successful in learning their tricks of the trade. Nothing fancy. This guy doesn't go get fancy hairdos. He's just him. He's himself. He likes blue. And you can see the colors that just continue to go. When you're in Guy Raz's space, you absolutely know you're in his space. So I think that is very helpful as well. And I really wanted to show you one of my other shows. Let's see if I can do this really fast. All right, bear with me. All right, we're going to go to USA Global. Oh, okay. So I did the classic mistake, so I won't do that. I will go back here though. And let's see if I can find the new, there we go. Okay, here we are. It's actually streaming. Let's get that one. We're going to go to this. So I want to just show you again how you can be consistent. So in our first season, one of my business partners in a different business, Meta Mindstream and Meta Engagement, which is for business people and HR people, using neuroscience to help make practical, instinctive business choices. You see that first season, I kept the thumbnails really consistent. Also, these colors go with our website. Everything is very, very consistent. By the second season, we were able to start branching out because people were now used to us. We had some show and brand name recognition, and we were able to start branching out. And that's when you can start really having fun with the thumbnails, as you see many people do. This is also stuff I do for my clients. I believe JACALYN can do that for you also, which is just keeping it fun and lively. Using professional photos. This is what separates you from so many other people. If you just like broadcasting, video streaming in your sweats and a ball cap, that is awesome. Good for you. And that's who you are. That's your MO, and your fans probably love it. If you're really trying to be a professional influencer on a global scale, you do have to take it up a notch. It's not so hard. It just takes a little thought, and you're able to really get that world-class impact, which is entirely my purpose as the podcast maestro, which is bringing you into your own, taking all the elements of what makes you amazing, what makes all your branding, and bringing you into a show. And so I'll just lastly, here's some of the other things, be sure to give yourself recognition for all the things you've been on. USA Global is right here. Oh, it's the old logo. JACALYN, I got to replace that. Oops. Make sure you list your past shows or multiple current shows when you are on your website and everywhere else. And I don't know if this will share sound. This is a really good question. So what I'm going to do is, I guess we'll find out. Is there anything that won't? Well, we'll just give it a shot and see what happens. I may not play the whole thing. Also, be sure that you have get great testimonials on your site about your show. Be sure that other people are talking about your show, because when they're talking about your show, it's even more impactful. So I don't know if you can hear this, but we'll jump in. Okay, so just in case you can't hear it, I won't make him finish there. So in a nutshell, what I do is I take if you have never had a streaming TV show, if you have never had a video podcast, and you're like, gosh, I don't know anything about tech, where do I even begin? The Podcast Maestro and me and my team are there to help you out. If you are a really busy person, I'm primarily working with people who are already significantly advanced and experts in their field. Many of them don't have time. They've been in their field for 10, 20, 30 years, and they really are an expert, but they haven't quite made it to a thought leader presence, and they want to do that. Then I say, listen, I offer you a plug and play podcasting service, primarily video. I don't typically live stream. That is JACALYN's department. I do pre-record because I'm very much about, that's just my vibe, is to pre-record and control all the details. I know I'm a control freak, but that's why I'm good at my job. So that is how you can find ways to work with me. A plug and play kind of service where you still air on USA Global TV. I encourage all of my clients to air on USA Global TV. We work that into their services, and whatever other platforms might be important to you, you're ready to go. It's plug and play from the outlines for your show all the way down to full production with producers, all the way down to editing, to creating your clips, to helping promote you on social media. We'll actually do all your own social media promotion on your own social networks. That's what my team and I do. So if you have any other questions about that, or you just like to come over and say hi, whoa, let me stop sharing before I make myself completely dizzy. Okay, stop. Okay, there we go. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Jacqueline or reach out to me. Again, if you're just listening, my name's Ann Scottlin. That's Ann with an E, A-N-N-E, SCOTTLIN, not the country, AnnScottlin.com. Check it out. I'd love to see if I can help you. Or if you know someone who's always just like, my friend, you have to start a streaming show or a video podcast. You have so much to contribute to the world. This can make such a tremendous impact. But they're just like, I don't have time. I don't know how. Those are the kind of people that I love to work with. So Jacqueline, back to you. And thanks for this great opportunity.
Congratulations, Ann.
Fantastic presentation. I was going to say, Anne, I was going to say, that big chair, is that your own big chair? That big throne?
It isn't. I was working with a company that used it as we dragged it all over the US, actually. But I've since thought of actually getting my own because I love it so much. It just makes me so happy to sit in that chair.
Well, and it looks like the one from your book, from your children's book.
It is, and that is exactly, it was that company. Yeah, so that was exactly, it was the company that was teaching joy to kids, how to have joy and positive emotional well-being, especially during the pandemic and so forth, was was how that all got started. And it's still going. But yeah, so much fun.
Well, I learned a lot from your presentation. I do have a couple of comments, and then we can go around to Kirk and to Dr. Chan. So the first one was, I thought it was really interesting what you talked about, having the same colors and the consistency over and over again. And I think that's definitely when we started, I missed the mark on that. And now that we've got maybe 45 different shows, I know when I'm on them, I'm trying to do the branding based on, like, for example, the United Kingdom news and culture. This is my 4th show today, so I've had 4 different looks. But maybe that's not the right thing to do. Maybe it should be the same look. So for United Kingdom, I've got pearls, I've got my hair up, I've got, very British. What are your thoughts? Should you have the same look? Should it be you wear purple every time for every show, or purple for one show and then you do the second one in pink? What do you think?
I think it's really the persona you're cultivating. If, there's some people who do like the podcaster who just wears crazy hats, or, like there's things like, if that is sort of your gig, which is being quirky, but you have something consistently quirky, then I think that's a really, really good way to be memorable. On the other hand, though, if you're crossing so many divides, on all these shows, I've just sort of standardized my look. That works for me. It's all business related in one way or another. And that way I feel like even if they're watching the show with Lyman and me, they're instantly like, oh, it's Ann. Not that they wouldn't, but it's sort of like the same vibe. And he and I even have a same vibe in our dress. Naturally, we got lucky. So it does create some consistency. It really depends on your vision, I think.
Thank you for that clarification. One more comment, then we'll go over to Kirk. The other thing is, I loved what you shared about encouraging people to go to other platforms. I got the feeling when we first started, and because I was at a radio station and the owner said, you can't be on this station and be doing something else. And I thought, well, why not? People have something to say. And I think get it on as many platforms as you possibly can, hence collaborating with people like Kirk and other people that we have a voice. Let's share it across the world as many times as possible. But some people don't believe that. So, Ann, how do you guide your clients if they say, well, I don't want to be on just this platform. I don't want to go on all the rest?
When I say plug and play with services, it's very close to that. It's basically, let us bring you into our space and work the magic for you. And the more platforms, the better. And if there's an add-on for the different platforms, but like there's going to be a minimum, at least the minimum that StreamYard would provide most cases, so that people are on multiple platforms. When I'm doing my initial consultation with them, I'm going to find out, why wouldn't you be streaming on your social media when you're also streaming on LinkedIn and you're also streaming on USA Global and you're also streaming on YouTube? Like, it's so easy now. It's actually a waste of time and energy. I want my clients to be wildly successful. So I'm like, this is how we work. We're going to make you wildly successful. And this is how it's going to be done. Now, it doesn't mean I can't negotiate and be flexible if they have like a really pet you know, if they have something like, I definitely need to be broadcast on this place, this is my business, absolutely. But the more the better, because it's about branding, and you know, it's the niche that goes big that wins.
Well said. Thank you. Thank
I
you
was
very
going
much.
to say, Dr. Jacqueline, if I can ask one little question to Anne, because I'm quite interested in the way that you're saying the podcast. It's not live broadcasting like Dr. Jacqueline does, but it's pre-recorded. And because I understand about recording and that, do you actually offer the training? Because there's more to it when you're pre-recording certain words and tones.
Yeah.
You've got to bring out more.
So yes. So I do private consulting, private coaching. Primarily that training also just comes from the show, which is on USA Global. So Launch It, the podcast maestro, from choosing your mics and your backgrounds to, you know, having the right, you know, practicing your voice, practicing, you know, every possible element. You can get a lot of that just through there. I do private sessions. So yeah, but the primary focus is doing it for people so that they can get on with their business. Because I find like a lot of times people get so bogged down in trying to produce that they're not really monetizing their brand. So it's about kind of what you put in, you get out of it. You know what? Let's let you do whatever it is you're best at. And that's why I work with professionals like Jacqueline and others all the time. You know, I'm like, there are things I hate to do. So let someone else please do that.
Absolutely.
I love the answer.
And listen, Anne, before Anne goes, if I may, Dr. Jacqueline asked Anne a question about, you know, your different outfits, if you will, on the different shows that you have. You have to realize that there are multiple brands, right? There are layers of brands. You're representing USA Global TV. That's a brand in and of itself. Dr. Jacqueline KERBECK, you're your own brand, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, in my opinion, you're doing a disservice by changing your personal brand with every one of your shows, right? You're being kind of like a chameleon. Well, what's Dr. Jacqueline's brand, correct? For instance, I'm a network anchor, former ESPN anchor, New York Mets anchor, the CW anchor, 2-time Emmy winner. Everywhere I go, I have a personal brand, and that's the jacket with my silk, correct? So if I don't show up with that brand, people will not buy into who the heck I am, right? The 30 years experience that I have, correct? You need to really understand the different levels of brand. And I'm saying this not just for Dr. Jacqueline. Dr. Jacqueline, we're using her as an example, and she asked that question as an example so we could teach the viewers out there for this. And let's understand you have your own personal brand. Sizzle TV is my network, my smart TV network, and it has its own brand, right? It has its own color scheme and branding palette and color palette. I, myself, KIRK Gimenez, am my own brand, and I have to represent on brand everywhere I go. If I'm doing a one-on-one Zoom, guess how I'm going to show up? On brand, my personal brand, correct? So there's a difference, there's nuance there, right, Anne?
Oh, that's excellent. And I was like, thank goodness you're a guy, because being a woman, it's much harder, like jumping into everything and having to get ready. I just absolutely hate it. If you can find someone who can just like come spray me with something and I can instantly go on, I would be so excited.
Listen, and I understand the pain point, because there was a famous, you know, being a news journalist, there was a famous case in where I think it was a Seattle, Washington female news anchor. If she repeats a dress once every 3 months, she would get criticized, right? So her male counterpart decided to wear the same suit for an entire year. All he did was change the shirt, and nobody said a word for an entire year. Now, how's that for a double standard, right? It's unfair, correct?
Yeah.
But then, you know, that's part of your branding, and that's part of a female news anchor's brand. Is they have to realize that the viewers out there, the audience, are going to judge them differently. Is it fair?
It is.
No,
it isn't fair. It's not fair. It is. And I think that's partly too part of the evolution of what, I mean, when I was first podcasting, it was, you know, live audio only, which was like, to me, the worst possible thing you could do. But, you know, I think we evolve, you know, some of our shows I was doing 5 years ago, it was fun. It was goofy. It was, you know, we were just trying to have a blast, which was great. Nobody cared what anybody wore. We were having a good time. It was very open, very casual. But now I've just changed into like, I want to be a thought leader in my field. I want to work with other thought leaders. So therefore my persona has to kind of adapt with it. So I think that, yeah, I think
you tell me, will it work for ladies? Maybe pick a one look and then have that look everywhere and show up with that one look everywhere. I met this other woman who has a very famous, let's say, I don't want to mention it by name, but a very famous furniture and home lifestyle store and brand.
Oh, yes, her.
And she wears the same thing everywhere she goes, right? It's the
Wow.
same look. And that way, everywhere she looks, it's the same picture, it's the same hair, it's the same outfit. She has, I don't know, X amount of outfits of the same outfit, but maybe there's a slight change in the shirt or whatever, but it's really the same. It's a uniform, if you will, a uniform.
Yeah.
That can work in and of itself as well for your own personal brand or your company's brand. It's all about big picture, right? And talking to thought leaders like Ann said about it. And that's the big deal with, I have a marketing and ad agency, a full-blown, full house service marketing branding agency. And that's, people hire us to do that, right? They hire us to say, okay, what's the brand? What do the colors mean? Each different color means different thing, evokes different, emotions from your client. So what is your brand about? What's its mission? What do the colors mean within the brand, right? I branded Sizzle TV as an orange emoji of a fire because it's sizzle, fuego, right? I wanted a universal brand, and it's that emoji, but I wanted it orange because orange is the happiest of colors, right? And I'm a lifestyle entertainment network, so you have to think about these things, all the nuances. Have you done that for your brand? I get hired a lot to say, listen, I need a rebrand, and the number one step is, do you have a brand packet? Does everyone in your company know what the brand is about, what the color is, what the colors mean? And whenever there's something done, if XYZ employee does not have the brand packet and they get the color wrong or the font wrong, is it really their fault? No, it's not. You didn't do your job as a leader, a CEO, founder, marketing, CMO, to let them know what the brand color is, what the brand theme of your company is. It's not their fault, right? So it all starts with that. And I think it helps when you start realizing, okay, your branding includes multiple things. What your brand is all about, the color, et cetera, and all of that. And then branding is a continued effort to let the people know what your brand is all about. So that marketing and branding are very nuanced things. Marketing is selling, right? I like to tell people, click on this link, 20% discount. That's marketing. Branding is letting the people know what your company is about, always posting on that LinkedIn or Instagram. This is what we're doing. That's what it's about. It won't necessarily lead to sales, but it'll keep your audience engaged and always remind them what your brand is all about. That's why it's important being on those social media. It's important being on LinkedIn. And here I am preaching marketing and branding, but I can go on for days.
Yes, it's a great conversation. I really appreciate it. And great job on your presentation. Very well done. We are going to move on to Kirk. I'm going to welcome Justin Mirigliani, who's backstage. Hi, Justin.
Hey, everybody. How are you?
Hey, good to have you with
Hello,
us.
Justin.
We're
Good
not
to
going to
be
introduce
here.
you yet, as we're going to move on. So the way this works is Kirk is going to be up for his 15 minutes, and Ann and Justin, you're welcome to stay and then come back and have some interaction if you'd like. And I know, Justin, you haven't presented yet, so you'll still be here. So without further ado, Kirk, I think we have a pretty good idea of who you are and what you do, but I just want to give a little bit of background. You and I met a couple of years ago, at least, and I interviewed you, and I was really impressed with what it was you were talking about. And then Ian Pelham Turner, who is one of our team members, he's an expert correspondent on the royal family. He happened to be watching, and he said, get in touch with that guy. You need to work with that guy. So I reached out to you to see what we could do. And at the time, I was not all together in what it was we're supposed to be doing. And then here we are today, where we are streaming our shows on Zizzle TV. And I know you're going to talk to people about Zizzle TV because you have a very unique concept on 300 different destinations. And so let's take it away. You are an expert as a two-time Emmy winner, as a major anchor. Please share your presentation with us now.
Thank you so much, Dr. JACALYN, for the floor, and it's my pleasure to follow Ann. And thank you for having me. And listen, Dr. JACALYN, if you want to chime in, I love the interaction between interviewee and interviewer. If anyone else wants to chime in and ask a question, feel free. But as you see at the bottom of your screen, I'm the founder of Sizzle TV, and yes, Dr. JACALYN and I, we collaborate and we put her shows on Sizzle TV, which is a smart TV network, and it's free on Samsung, LG, and Roku. So worldwide, if you have any one of those televisions, you can download it for free. We're a lifestyle and entertainment network, and I am Latino. I'm an immigrant from Venezuela. I'm in Miami, Florida, 305 in the house. And, I've always been a Latino representative since I was the first Latino to anchor in English in ESPN history 21 years ago. Yeah, it's been a long time. So I represent Latinos, I represent minorities, women, you name it, and I love to tell their stories on a network level. Correct? I'm a former network anchor, journalist, and that's what I tell my marketing and branding clients as well. Is you got network level storytelling on Sizzle TV with an interview with me, and then we also have fun stuff like Disney. We feature Disney previews, Universal Studio Orlando. We have Grant Cardone on the network as well. So it's just fun episodes, lifestyle entertainment episodes, representing and reflecting what we are in a diverse, multicultural space, and the universe that is these United States of America, the greatest country in the world. And then it's realizing that in today's day and age, everything has to be a la carte, correct? And everyone has a niche audience. So yes, it is on Sizzle TV, but then every episode gets distributed also on binge networks, on other platforms, and who are second tier platforms as well, but very popular with our own audiences. The Grio for African American audiences, my content gets pushed out to there, gets pushed out to Viva Live TV, gets pushed out to Local Now, Viva Live TV Hispanics, obviously. Local Now is a more journalist app, smart TV app. And then Hero Go TV, which is more geek app. So all my geeky style content, because I'm a big geek myself, anything Universal, anything Disney gets pushed out to there as well. And look at that. There's Sizzle TV, and it's Sizzle with an X, Xizzle TV. And then we're talking about the marketing and branding, right? The oranges, the yellows. It's all to evoke happiness. And then we're also a full-time marketing and brand agency as well. We do national media ad buys. We partner up with large firms to do that as well. We do innovative, and there's Elena Cardone. She was on the network as well, talking about her book. She was a pleasure to interview. And then we also talk national ad buys. We do something better than SEO. So if your business is doing SEO, you can continue spending all that money on there, but we do something that's even better than that. It's called organic traffic amplification. So you name it in the digital ad space, marketing, branding ad space, we're a full house agency, but you get value and trust. You get a 2-time Emmy winner. Some clients want to say, hey, listen, I want you to do the writing, you to do the voiceover, you to do the editing, you to do the interview. I want no one else touching my brand and my mission. And I get that from a lot of large corporations as well. Is they only want these 2-time Emmy winning hands touching the file and the mission. So that's the focus. That's what it's about. But really, what we're all about, what I'm here to talk about, is collaboration. Correct. Dr. JACALYN and I, we've collaborated to amplify our businesses, to amplify our each individual efforts, and you can do that, in so many ways. I've tapped into the power of collaboration. Now I'm a certified minority business as well, with Sizzle TV and the company that produces Sizzle TV, KG Productions, certified nationally with the National Minority Supplier Development Council, and that's one of my missions, right? Is to tell people, you're out there as your CEO, as a founder, running your business. What's your support system like? What's your ecosystem? Do you have an ecosystem? What kind of energy are you projecting out there in terms of being open to collaboration? I'm wearing this X for a reason. Is through that Minority Supplier Development Council and being certified, I was able to co-found a conglomerate of 14 major minority businesses who do everything from construction to financing to marketing to branding to staffing, shipping, logistics. We built an ecosystem, correct? And it's Excelsior Empowerment Group, XELSIR, and that's what we preach. We preach is those ecosystems, those collaborations. The saying, "A rising tide rises all ships." That's what our focus is really helping people and helping realize people that there are that there is room for knowing someone, loving someone, and trusting someone in today's day and world. If you're, like-minded, if you share the same mission, and if you provide value, correct? Value is the number one essence. And in our group, it all starts with what? Money, the capital, right? And we have a very tried and trusted capital firm and financing firm called Brickell Capital Finance. We're on the founders on the board of the Better Business Bureau, does minority and diverse funding and financing, business lines of credit at 1.5% a month that are very accessible. And that's my personal mission as well, is to bridge the knowledge and wealth gap. And how do I do that? Is by giving simple advice. Things like, do not sign a merchant cash advance. Those are those envelopes that you get probably bi-weekly or bi-monthly, depending on where your business is, in the mail, saying, hey, you've been pre-approved for $250,000. That is predatory. People who are giving you that will take your business, will take your house, will take your car, and will ruin your business. You'll be paying 50 to 60% on average interest on that money. If you're being sold money expensively, it's criminal, and don't fall into that. And I see that a lot, and because I'm that guy who's open, honest, and transparent in conversations, and I'll ask people, how are you running your business? Where are you at? Doesn't matter if it's a multi-million-dollar business, if it's a clinic, if it's a lawyer's office. You'd be surprised how people are running their businesses, right? They're experts in their field. They don't know how to run the business, right? It's built on a financial house of cards and deck of cards. So it's knowing how to access money, who to access money from, and are you accessing it, expensively? If you're running your business on your credit card, how much you're getting sold that money at? 18 to 22% a month. That's a lot of money. Are you running your own business on your own capital? Are you, not fluid at the end of the month? Are you choking because you're running your business on your own capital? These are conversations that need to be had with minority owners, women owners, immigrant owners. That it's in the past, it's been gate kept information. Let's put it that way. But I'm trying to push past that and beyond that. Let everyone know what the reality is and what our reality is. You may not get a grant. You're not going to get a loan. I go to all these events, financing events, and experts say it's proven lending across America has flatlined for businesses from banks. But those things like the MCAs, you don't have to fall into that trap. There are other non-traditional funding options where you don't get taken advantage of. So we've talked a lot about marketing, branding, streaming, and finances, because everyone needs those two things, and that's what my expertise is. I'm a money and marketing guy. Everyone needs money. Everyone needs marketing, and in one way or another, through not only my expertise but the expertise of the giants and my colleagues at Excelsior Empowerment Group, we can probably help a lot of people, and that's our mission. That's our goal, is to help. We are like you. We're all CEOs. We've all experienced those pain points, but we've quickly joined forces to create our own ecosystems. And I'm here to tell you, what have you been doing, right? How is your business ready to elevate? How's your business ready to grow? Are you really connected to the right people? And it's everything in your mindset, correct? Once I doubled down on that mindset and energy, and I heard you guys say, some of you are like big children, and I'm like a big child. I'm excited about everything I do. And if not everybody's as excited as I am in a situation, it speaks volumes. Who am I surrounding myself with? Once I decided and was intentional in everything that I was doing and who I was going to be doing business with, everything changed for me, correct? I went from a 30-year network anchor, talking face guy, to a real businessman, a real entrepreneur. I've come to realize, before this, I was faking it, just like many of us are out there, right? Are you a real businessman? Are you a real entrepreneur? Do you value relationships? Do you value really getting to know the other person across the room or the table, and really listening into their mission, their business, and what they're doing? That's how you become a real business person. And I've done that by becoming a real people person, which I've always been. But now I'm more intentional who I'm doing business with. That's why Dr. JACALYN and I have such a great working relationship. There's a trust there. Right? She knows who I am. I know who she is, and it's and I'm not just talking about being two TV personalities. It's talking about your essence and your energy and your frequency. What frequency are you vibrating at? Does the person across from you in this conversation, are they vibrating at the same frequency? Right? Are they picking up what you're putting down? And that's the universal law of attraction, right? You get what you put out, you get back what you put out into the universe. Yesterday, I had a meeting with two Indian fellows from India. They were doing a cross-country trip around America, helping me with marketing and branding. We had an incredible business lunch meeting, and here I am the next day. My emails blowing up, my WhatsApp blowing up from them, being really truly appreciative because I connected them to my network, connected them to my people who I was like, wow, I completely understand what you're doing. I understand your business model. What you're doing is incredible. Let me see your capability statement, your past performance. Okay, that's great. Let me put you in connection with this guy, that guy. And so through me, they met with 5 or 6. Really, I was representing the entire Excelsior Empowerment Group, which is 14 businesses, but then even other businesses that could use their services and or collaborate with their services and do real business on an international level. And I'm not doing it to brag. I'm not saying all this stuff to brag. I'm just letting you know there's another level, right? There's a new energy out there that I'm feeling of collaboration, of respect, of trust. And in the corporate procurement and diversity space, we're really leading the way. Excelsior is being called visionary, exciting, new a way of doing corporate procurement, of changing the DEI landscape, and realizing that when you go after corporate business, it's a lot of work. It's you have to have the capacity, you have to have the past performance to be able to do that business vertically, correct? And reach up and do that business with corporations. But in the meantime, what are you doing? Are you doing businesses with other medium to large to small businesses? Anything under, I think, 150 million is considered a small business. So there's a lot of business to be had with medium to small businesses. Are you collaborating with other medium to small business owners, fellow CEOs, fellow founders that get you those easy wins and get you those easy yeses, get you those easy checks and say yes? Are you providing them value? And are you transactional? Correct? Procurement officer, a corporate procurement officer at a major corporation asked me that. You know what I love about you? You're not transactional, correct? And when you're not transactional, people pick up on that. People pick up on that energy. Because why? You know your value, correct? We all go through that imposter syndrome. Know your value. Really know what your niche is. Really know what your expertise is. Once you know your value, you can give some of that away freely without having to be transactional, because you know that what you're really doing is creating relationships. And that's all we do at Excelsior Empowerment Group is we create relationships not only with other great certified minority businesses, but with corporations and their executives and their officers. I see I'm getting a note from Dr. Jackie. We have to move on. So thank you for your time. Hopefully we elevated, we educated, and we inspired. Right, Dr. Jackie?
That actually was not for you, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That was really well done. Thank you. I just want to highlight the fact that Zizzle.tv is part of this package that you offer to entrepreneurs. It's one piece in the cog, one wheel in the.
Correct. Yeah, you're right, because like Ann said, there's a lot of people who want to be on camera, but there's a lot of corporations, a lot of executives, a lot of officers, a lot of fellow CEOs and founders who don't have that on-camera skill set. That's why they like to work with me. I'm that 2-time Emmy winner, that corporate network anchor who can really help you tell the story through an interaction, through an interview, and I'll ask the right questions. They'll know it's not get your television. I make them feel comfortable. Elena Cardone said, "Man, you made me feel really warm and fuzzy inside after we wrapped." There's a clip of that on my Instagram. And I go, you know what? Thanks so much. And I go, I've been told that I'm kind of like the male Oprah Winfrey. She goes, yes, I get it. That's exactly how you made me feel. Like I was with Oprah, the male Oprah. But well, that's what it's about. And sometimes you get people, like you said, and said, you don't have time to be doing your own podcast. So what I do is I amplify through one interview. either through Sizzle TV episode, and I give away episodes. Yes, you're right. I provide network level storytelling in your own media episode that gets distributed throughout all that smart TV network at a value, because through my experiences, I'm not going to charge you that network level price, but I give you that network level production because I've been in that network level. I know how to tell that network level storytelling, how to ask the right question, how to grab your brand and tell a really amazing story and make it pop within the first 20, 30 seconds. And the reason it's called Sizzle TV, I know you didn't ask Dr. Jacqueline, but I'm telling you anyway, is because every interview and every episode gets a sizzle reel introing the episode and the interview. And that's like a mini commercial, correct? So you're getting a mini commercial, you're getting an episode, and we slice that up, and you can get it in your reels, amplify it. Because let's face it, not everybody watches a whole 15, 12-minute episode, but they're going to watch a 30-second clip, 40-second clip here, and we slice that up with, again, I hate saying network level storytelling all the time, but it is what it is, because I help pull the best sound bites, rearrange them. I don't use AI. I use my 30-year judgment, which is that fast. I have a saying, ChatGPT ain't got nothing on me, because I got the 30-year experience and the journalistic judgment to say, wow, what he said here in the back, that's the money sound bite. Let's bring that to the back, bring it to the front, and that's what's going to go on social media. Correct. Don't put. I tend to recommend to people, don't put the full episode on social media. No one wants to sit through a 12-minute episode on social media, but everyone's on social media scrolling, and that's part of the branding. Correct. Okay, you shot this 12, 13, 14-minute episode. Are you only going to get a one shot, one and done out of it, or do you want to slice it up and populate it across a whole month? And get more value out of it. So many people nowadays want to. Why? Because they're transactional. They just want to get the big sale and charge you, and then that's it. They're gone, right? And then what? And then I see a lot of marketing companies as well. They're charging you $2,500 for static, file footage or file photos. That's not even your business or your brand or your story, and you get 1 or 2 likes, and you're paying how much for that? I mean, come on, time for people to wake up. And then also it's all about providing value, and that's one thing as well as I provide as the corporate Zoom consultant. I'll finish that up because I forgot to mention that is I've coached, and I'm not a coach, but I'm a consultant, 4,000 Google employees in one sitting, Brown & Brown Insurance, Toastmasters, and this is what I teach, right? Right now, let's face it, StreamYard, I'm at home on my camera, but yet with the realization that when you're on a Zoom, and if you have a business, a corporation, anything, any employee is representing your business, is representing your company, representing your corporation. Are they dropping the ball? Are they embarrassing you without realizing that they are on a broadcast? A Zoom is a broadcast. A Google Meetup is a broadcast. A Teams meeting is a broadcast. Is your management, do they have on-camera training so they can handle their entire team in a virtual reality? The reason I closed Google is I told them, listen, pre-pandemic, only jerks like me needed on-camera skills. Post-pandemic, everyone needs on-camera skills, but they don't realize that they're broadcasters. Everyone post-pandemic is a broadcaster. Are you able to deliver with a gravitas? Are you able to realize and tap into a performance mindset? And that's one thing I consult. I have 3, if you will, patented practical performance tips for Zoom, Teams, and Google Meetups that I teach to corporations and all of their staff. And that's one thing as a 2-time Emmy winner that I do provide that is really accessible and really powerful for businesses, for corporations, medium and small. I've done law firms, I've done doctors' offices, medical supply offices, and especially the lawyers are the funny one, Dr. Jacqueline, because they'll say, you know what, Kirk, I can jump into a courtroom in front of a jury and own the jury. But when I hit Zoom and that little light turns on, I freeze up, anxiety, stress. And so I teach them my 3 practical tips. 2 weeks later, check in on them. You've changed my life. Like now I can do the 17 Zoom depositions a day without any issue. And it's a reality, right? We're all working from home nowadays, a lot of us. How do you get ready for that Zoom when your dishwasher's leaking? Or there's the guys are mowing the lawn outside and you're stressed and you don't know how to get ready to be on camera, and you have all these stressors affecting you and affecting your psyche and your mindset. No one has that training. No one's teaching that training. This guy. So
Kirk, you have so
That's
much
wonderful.
experience and expertise in many areas. You really are a great resource for people to turn to. So we've put your
I just
information.
want to help, Dr. Jacqueline. I just
No,
want to help people.
you do. You're
That's
very
what I-
helpful. And I just wanted to share that Anne is still with us, but she just wrote, "Thank you, Kirk, for sharing." She's still on screen. She's on her way to her meeting. So thank you, Anne, for
Have a
being
great meeting, Ann.
Yeah, have a good meeting. Thank you, Kirk. We're going to move on to Justin right now. Justin Mirigliani and I have known each other also for years. We met through the Crohn's Colitis Foundation because we both are patients, and we've done some events together. We just really hit it off and became really good friends. And Justin's had a show on our platform, Entrepreneur and So Much More, which was fabulous. We did that together. We also did Take Steps and Kick IBD. Woohoo! And now Justin's coming back with another show. I'll let him talk about that. But Justin is an entrepreneur and he helps people with soft skills, and he's an expert in his field. So Justin, over to you for your 15 minutes.
Now, how do I follow Kirk? Amazing. I mean, just absolutely amazing. Boy, I got to tell you, listening to him, there were a few things that really stuck out in my mind, and I just want to say them off the bat. Passion, wanting to help other people, being authentic. These are all the things that make you a successful person. It just is. And I'm wearing one of my shirts here from a hockey game that I played in. I usually wear a nicer like collared shirt for one of these shows, but this is one of the hockey ones that I wear for charity hockey games. And that's really becoming my passion. As Dr. Jacqueline said, we've known each other for many years, and I was a ulcerative colitis patient for 12 years. And in 2015, I had to have my entire large intestine removed, rectum and anus, and I have a permanent ileostomy. Was I happy about that? In fact, funny thing, it was 9 years ago yesterday is when I got the phone call that that was going to happen. 9 years later, am I thrilled that I'm going to live the rest of my life with an ileostomy? No, not thrilled, but certainly better than what the alternative would have been, which was looking like colon cancer. So I really did, you know, there's it's not a curse, it's a blessing. It really has changed my life in a lot of ways. I'm more free now to do whatever I want to do. I could go to the beach, I could ski, I could swim, I could lift weights like crazy. I'll show you a couple of pictures just to show you the transformation that I've gone through over the time. That I'm going to put my glasses on here because I see some of the chat coming in and I can't see it that well. There we go. All right, much better. So the really we were doing Entrepreneur and So Much More for a few years, and I was trying to grow my corporate training business. And I did. I grew it pretty well. It went from I was making close to $50,000 a year for many, many years. The business has been running for 22 years now. I've been training for 25. Pardon me, I have a little cold, so I'm just trying to keep my my throat moist here. But most of that time, I wasn't making a whole lot of money. I was making about $50,000 a year, which wasn't great. I mean, obviously, that's not really enough for especially somebody who's been in the business that long. And then I just kept working on it and building it and building it and building it. And finally, it became a six-figure business. And that was great. And it felt good, but it was not fulfilling. And I found that I'm not fulfilled by money. I thought maybe that growing a business, making it so successful, and not that it's tremendously successful, but successful enough that I was making six figures and still am. And I train people on Microsoft applications, especially Excel. That's been one of the biggest ones: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access, Visio, Project, OneNote. I also do soft skills training. I do time management, project management. I do um, giving and receiving positive and constructive feedback, things like that. And I just try to make people better at their jobs, just better at what they do. I do consultation, as you can see here on the screen. I do lunch and learns. So I do a lot of training, but that that's what feeds my family. That's what helps put my kids through school. That's what helps put food on the table. That's what helps pay for the mortgage. And that's obviously important. I mean, I don't think any one of us are delusional enough to believe that money is not important, because it is. We have to have it. We have to live in a world where money matters. But it's not my driving force. It's not my passion. It's not what makes me go. And really, what it is now is my charity that I started in 2014, Checkmates Charitable Association. Um, we did celebrity NHL hockey games starting in 2015. I started the charity in 2014, but our first game was in January of 15. And we uh, did well. I mean, we did all right. We raised some money, about $10,000 per event, and we did it until 2019. 2020, the pandemic came and ruined that game. That game was out, so we didn't do that. And I kind of fell off the wagon there. I'll be honest with you. I just kind of focused in on my own business, and again, in some ways that was important, because that helped me grow into a six-figure business. And there was success there, but again, there was a lack of fulfillment. And now I'm a spiritual person. I'm not the type of person. I'm not a super religious person, in that I'm not. I'm Catholic. I go to church as much as I can. I can't say that I'm practicing Catholic every Sunday, but I'm spiritual every day. I pray every day. Twice a day, in the morning and at night. And I really feel that God has put some things in my life recently that has made me restart this, to get this going again. And one of them is a very close friend of mine from college had a colleague, or has a colleague that she works with, who has a 1-year-old baby who was born with inflammatory bowel disease. And I can't tell you how much that hurt me, to hear that a baby, because I know how hard it was when I was 27, turning 28, how hard it was to live with that. And I can't even imagine what it's like for an infant who just turned 1 year old a week ago. And that was one thing. And then I've been talking a lot to uh, Ed Bernstein, who's become a really good friend of mine. And Ed Bernstein's daughter, Dana, she passed away from Crohn's disease, complications from Crohn's disease, which is rare. Most people don't pass away from Crohn's or colitis, but it can happen. She had a small bowel transplant that didn't work. It was rejected. And then she had complications with infections, and then unfortunately died. And that's another part of the story that's really driven me ever since I saw her movie. She's got a movie called Semicolon: The Adventures of Ostomy Girl. If anybody wants to buy that movie, I don't get a penny for it. I'm not here to make any money whatsoever. But it's a wonderful movie, and uh, I just really felt a connection to that wonderful young girl. 28 years old. She did lose her life, but I try to carry on her mission. People say, "Oh, how could you feel that way about somebody you don't know? You never met her. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think that hearts can touch each other no matter how, whether it's through distance, whether it's through shared experiences, whatever it is. So I actually call her little sister, even though we never met. And I ask her, I say, little sister, what can I do to further your mission? How can I help further your mission and make it part of mine? So we're having it just lit the fire between this little boy, another friend of mine that has a child within, I think he was 3 years old, had Crohn's disease, still struggling mightily with it. I talked to his mother yesterday, And she was telling me that, he's been going back and forth between, being okay and then not being okay and struggling. I know what that's like. I know what it's like. And then just 2 weeks ago, my wife was in the hospital, and we thought that she had some sort of problem with perforated bowel. It turned out it was not, but for a short time, we thought she might need emergency surgery. And I just felt like God was not beating me over the head, but he was tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, listen, you've stopped doing this for so many years. Wake up, man. It's time. We need you. You need to do this. You're not a celebrity. You're not somebody with a big name. You don't have Emmy awards. You don't have any of those credentials. But what you do have is the credibility of being somebody who's been through it and somebody who's been touched by it." And so we're doing a charity hockey game in August of 2025. So actually over a year from now, August 23rd, a Saturday, 2025 in Philadelphia, right outside of Philadelphia, Aston, Pennsylvania. And then we're having a post game party, which I've had so many celebrities uh, say that they want to join us. The fact of the matter is, one of them is Brian Propp, who's a good friend of mine. We've been friends for 20 years. He played for the Flyers. He is a Flyers Hall of Famer. He should be an NHL Hall of Famer, by the way. So if the NHL's listening, you got to get Brian in the NHL Hall of Fame. He belongs there. He's got the numbers and he's got the years, and he definitely belongs in the Hall of Fame. But he's a Hall of Fame human being and good friend. And between he and some other celebrities who are going to come out and join us on that date, we're going to raise a ton of money. The rink will pack 1,000 people. I want to pack that thing to 1,000 people. I want to get 1,000 people in that rink. The tickets for the event are going to be $20 just to come to the game, and then for the post game party, I kept the price really really low. I got a very good deal, $70 per head, 4-hour party plus. We could close the place down. Starts at 8 o'clock. We could go from 8 to 12 plus. She said, if you go over, you go over. 2-hour open bar, full, which is incredible. Two buffets going at the same time. We have some comedians coming in. Joe Conklin is one of them, who's a Philadelphia legend here as a comedian. And so we're going to play the hockey game with the NHL stars, and we're going to have some regular guys like me who have no business being on the ice with these guys, getting a chance to play with our heroes from years past. And we're going to get a chance to skate with them and to eat dinner with them. And the fans are going to have a chance to have a beer with these guys and eat a meal with them and watch the comedy. And right now, what I'm working on, and to be honest with you, I'm just being totally honest with you, I'm working on what I can do as far as packages go for corporate sponsorship. We really, really, really need corporate sponsorship to really make a lot of money. The money's going to go to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and also former NFL Man of the Year, 1983, Ralph Benershka. He was a kicker for the San Diego Chargers, and he kicked 7 years with an ostomy. He had an ileostomy, and he was able to kick in the NFL with an ileostomy. And his story was the only reason why I thought there was any hope whatsoever for me after surgery. I thought once I had an ileostomy, my life was done. I thought it was over. I really did. I thought there's just nothing left. And that's so far from the truth. It's not even close. It's not even close. I mean, I ski, I weightlift, I play hockey. I do everything that anybody else would do. You wouldn't even know I have a bag unless I told you. So it's an important thing for me. The main thing that I want to get across about Checkmates is that we don't take a salary. There's nobody who takes a salary, including me. I don't take a penny, not a penny from it. So I don't care if we raise $100,000 or $200,000. It doesn't matter to me. Nobody's going to take a penny. It's going to go to the two places that I talked about, CHOP, Philadelphia Children's Hospital, which is one of the best. And that's because of the little boy who I learned about who has inflammatory bowel disease, and Rolf's mission, which is embracing ostomy life. Rolf is doing a wonderful job of helping people who are new ostomy patients who have no idea what they're walking into. I know I didn't, and there were really no examples other than Rolf to tell me what it would be like. And there you can see there's our website, and this is what the events look like. We had these hockey games with these NHL players, and there was my doctor who found the high grade dysplasia that was going to become the cancer. My children with me there, and we need corporate sponsors. And one of the things I'm giving away is free training. I charge $2,000 a day for training, and I'm willing to give away to any corporate sponsors part, not the whole thing, but part of the corporate sponsorship, 2 free days of training. So that's $4,000 of training. We'll put your logo on our jerseys. I'm going to start a show with Dr. JACALYN. I haven't come up with a name yet, but Rolf Benersch is going to join me probably once a month. I'm going to do it once a week, and we'll mention our sponsors on every show weekly. I'll have you on my website. I will promote you in any way possible, including the training for free. So that's a 4,000. If I do 2 classes for it, it's a $4,000 offering, and that's coming out of money that I could use. To be honest with you, I have 2 kids I have to put through school again, and it's not easy to give away time for that, but it's worth it to me. It's not about the money; it's about growth, and this is me and my journey with what I went through, going from being in a hospital bed and thinking life's over. And just to show you, Dr. JACALYN, if I could share my screen, is that okay? Can I share my screen with you?
Sure, go ahead.
I want to show you what I looked like last year, because I went through a horrible depression last year. And let me share this with you, because I think it's important to know that you can come back from anything. This is me in July of 2023. I was 252 pounds of pure fat. You can see that. I mean, let's be honest. I was in terrible shape. You can see the size that I was there. I was depressed. I was suicidal. I didn't think my life had any meaning whatsoever. I just felt just a horrible, pardon me, misclick there. I felt just a horrible pain. And then this is me this past July. I'm sorry, not July. This is me in April. The other picture was July, and I'm actually a lot bigger and more muscular than that now. So that had me down up to 200 pounds. So I was about 55 pounds almost lighter, and kept the muscle mass due to the fact that, I just had the passion to do it. So I'm not showing this to brag. I'm not showing this to show off. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because that's the kind of passion that I have. That's me. Whatever I do it with passion. I do it because it's in my heart. It's what I want to do. And to be perfectly honest and vulnerable with you, I can't do it alone. I need people. I need people to come out and help me. I need people to buy tickets to the events. I need people to offer corporate sponsorship, and I'll try to make it worth your while any way I can. Like I said, we're going to be doing a show, and Rolf will join us once a month to try to promote businesses. I'm looking at ostomy companies. I'm looking at companies that work with people with IBD, pharmaceutical companies that might be interested in promoting their medications, CBD companies that might be interested in helping with that. So I'm really excited about it, and it's got me feeling alive. It's got me feeling, I wake up every day excited. I can't say I felt that way last year. I felt like I suffer with depression and anxiety and take medication for it. And last year it did get the better of me, but this year, because of this, this game, and because of the stories that I've heard, and there's just a fire that's burning inside that it feels wonderful, and I just hope that people out there understand that and will be willing to be a part of it.
Justin, thank you so much. That was fantastic. I love what you shared there. You're so real and just putting it all out there for the world. I just want to mention that we were running your banner, but we also have checkmatescharity.com on the screen now. So if someone wants to join you and donate, where should they go to? Should they go to this website?
They can go to this website. I also set up a Venmo account for it as well.
Can you drop that here in the chat?
Yeah, I just have to find the what was it called here?
I'm going to bring Dr. Chan up, so if she has any questions or comments. Hello, Dr. Chan.
Hello, Dr. Jacqueline.
Hi, Dr. Chan.
Hi, Justin. Justin, I was absolutely in awe of your story. What I love about is the way that you're saying you're not a celebrity, but you are a public figure, actually. But the fact that you've turned your illness and the way of determination, you've turned it into your superpower. And you're just there with your passion, with your purpose, your divine mission. And it's almost like you're saying, come on, join me. Come and join me. Let's make a difference. Let's really help. I love it. And I find it. And you know what I found quite interesting? When you were overweight, your eyes seemed to be smaller and quite closed to energy. But once you started working on your physique and the whole beingness of your light being, your eyes were brighter and bigger and clearer.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Phenomenal. The transition. Absolutely.
And you also look so much younger, by the way.
Yeah.
Go Justin!
49. I'm half a year to 50.
Well,
well, you don't look
you're an incredible
Thank
person.
you.
I'm blessed to call you my friend, and I appreciate you being here today and sharing your story.
Yeah, I think you were asking about the Venmo. I think it is if you go on Venmo, it's Checkmate. I'm putting it in here, Justin, I believe. I just didn't can't remember off the top of my head, but I think that's what it is. Checkmate Justin.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the
So
way, I found out, I believe that's Venmo is only available in the United States. Is there any way for people outside the States to donate?
we do have on the website GoFundMe. So I don't know if that's outside the US, but we have a GoFundMe account as well. So people could donate that way.
Sorry, Justin, that's definitely acceptable outside.
And I'll be honest with you, the most important thing to me is, especially with my friends and family and people who can be there, the money's great. It's important, like I said, but having them there that night will be such a joy to me, because it'd just be like a wave of love in that building. It'll just be people who really care, people who really want to help other people, especially a baby who's suffering, or this other kid's not a baby anymore, but he was a baby, and now he's 12 years old and still suffering. And Dr. Jacqueline, I know you've been very honest about your own suffering with inflammatory bowel disease, and I also want to talk about other diseases as well that are immune diseases, autoimmune diseases, because I think that they're not talked about enough. I think people kind of gloss over them, and heart disease is a big deal, and muscular dystrophy is a big deal, and cancer is a big deal. We know that, and they deserve the money they get because they need it, but so do we. And I don't think we get our share because they're not as high profile as some of the other diseases are.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you. Well, we continue the mission. We are not doing Take Steps Walk this year, Justin, you and I, because we just didn't start fundraising soon enough, but we'll revisit in the future. I want to thank you again for your presentation. And also, I was sharing a picture of Rolf. I'm not sure if you saw that, but on the website. So people can go to your website and they can also see him. He was with the San Diego Chargers, right?
That is correct. Yes.
Football player for, I think, 10 years, 10 seasons, I should say. So he'll be
NFL
joining.
Man of the Year, 1983.
That's incredible. It really
Yeah.
is. All
His
right.
story's
Well,
amazing.
we're going to welcome our next guests who are backstage. So, Justin, you're welcome to stay around. Anne is still with us watching from backstage. We're going to welcome Blaise ACKOM to the stage. We're not going to introduce him just yet, but we're going to welcome him as he's back there. And we're also going to welcome April Frampton. Hi, April.
Hello. I'm very excited to be here. Now I'm in the right studio.
I know. Dr. Chan said to me, the link, you sent the wrong link. So, and Blaise is frozen. I think he's joining us from somewhere in Africa. So anyway, April and I met through a mutual friend who also is a team member here, Brandon Eckel, and Brandon has a show, the BFIT Project here. But April, you met Brandon at a conference, and you are a social media influencer, but you're also a marketing genius. And you go and talk to the people on the street, so to speak, but you represent local companies and you go out and get their products into the hands of people and you get them to know who you are. So take your 15 minutes and tell us about what you're doing.
All right. Thank you. I want to do a shout out to Dr. JACALYN. She is an amazing lady, and I have been so fortunate to, be in the realm of networking and doing what I do. So I'll just go ahead and get to it. My name is April Frampton. My company is Hey Ape. What in the world is Hey Ape? Well, let me tell you. It is guerrilla marketing, which is basically a very grassroots organic way to get your products into the hands of consumers. So I kind of do it more on an intuitive marketing strategic planning. When I meet a business, I ask them, what are their needs? What do they need to see the growth in their company? So I actually set up I do a 30-minute one-on-one with a business to kind of really get dialed into their marketing. When you're doing, I want to say creative strategic planning for a business, a lot of really very busy business owners have 25 things on their plate. They may be thinking about their business. If their sales are decreasing, if they've got employees, they've got so many things. So I will sit down with a business and talk to them. What is it that you want to see for the next 90 days? So I've developed a plan called the 3 and 90 method. What the 3 and 90 method entails, basically it does month 1, month 2, month 3. And at the end of 90 days, we have actually created a vision board based on their vision. So if they have 25 things that they are thinking about, I really try to get them to pick top 5, and we focus only on 3 for 90 days. And it's really a very cost-effective way to help a local business, to help them when they are struggling. And so in this 3 and 90 method, it teaches them basic strategic planning steps. And we kind of figure out, do we want to still stay with those 3 focuses, or at the end of 90 days, do we need to focus on one more thing? So I tend to work with a lot of businesses, but I'll only, do maybe 3 things that they are concerned about and focus on them. I've also developed not only the 3 and 90 method, I've developed the triangle effect. What is the triangle effect? Well, the easiest way to describe it is at a multi-billion-dollar company, Costco is the best way to describe it. When you walk into Costco and they have samples set up, a little taste, a little sample equals sales for a company. So a triangle effect for what I do is when I partner businesses up, 1, 2, and 3, and I teach them how to collaborate together. Competition over collaboration over competition any day in my book. And let's see, the 3 C's. I also teach the 3 C's method. What is the 3 C's? It is connect, collaboration, and communication. So if you kind of think about maybe you're like way back when, back in the like I want to say maybe our grandparents. We're going to just take our grandparents back in the day. They were literally the kings and queens of the concept of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, but they were the king and queens of word of mouth advertising. To this day, it is the most cost-effective way for a company to get their hands and products into the hands of consumers. One thing that I've specialized in is I've worked with a lot of franchises. Some of the franchises that I am currently working with is Nothing Bundt Cakes. I have worked with Famous Dave's. I have worked with the company Melty. And when it comes down to it, the platform that I've set up is strategic and it's very, very effective. It's a very organic boots on the ground marketing. But when you are a brand new company, even I also am a content creator. So I create content on social media based on the companies that I'm either working with, need a shout out, spotlight, whatever it is. You've got to get your name out to the public. So in that first 90 days, you want to hit the ground running, but you still have to have a plan of action, because if nobody knows who you are, like all the marketing dollars are not going to be the most cost-effective way to get your name out there. So in the first 90 days, I really recommend companies, let's just get your brand out to people. Brand awareness is the key to a successful launch and a successful business, because once you've had like a grand opening, for the first year, you are still a new company. Even for the first 3 years, you are still considered a new company, because, you know, if you have a really good review on social media, on Google review, someone's going to come in and try you out. If you get a bad review, it can tarnish your name. And so it's really crucial to make sure that both with online and in-person marketing, I kind of hone into both, but at the end of the day, I really hone in on the guerrilla marketing side, which is that business, one-on-one, talking to people, and really making those connections with things that can increase sales, increase awareness. Now, here's a term that you may or may not know. The term I've used, thrown around, ROIs. Return on investment. Now, for a brick and mortar business, your return on your business is not going to necessarily be financial. Yes, you're putting financials into a business, but it is your customer base, your customers coming into a business, or even online, how many customers are visiting your site through a website, your social medias, your Instagram, Facebook, whatever, Pinterest, TikTok, LinkedIn. I mean, those are all avenues that you have to be like really kind of paying attention to. And that's really kind of something that I feel like over the last 4 years of creating opportunity, that it has given me to not only meet one, but thousands and thousands of companies. I mean, when you're going to an event, whether I'm doing an event, live streaming, it's all the same, because when I'm live streaming, I might do a shout out at the beginning of my live stream. Hey, so on Wednesdays, I actually do a thing called Fun Facts and Trivia, which is centered around acknowledging local businesses or businesses that need a spotlight or a shout out. I'm like, at the beginning, I'm like, hey guys, welcome to another edition of Fun Facts and Trivia. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to Nothing Bundt Cakes or Dr. JACALYN or your business. It's just another way to get that brand and awareness out to a lot of people in a very kind of niche marketing, I would say. So do I have a niche? Yes. Do I collaborate with a lot of businesses? Absolutely. And with those collaborations, I do everything from events to charity organizations to, you know, collaborating other businesses. I mean, it's not unusual to, and I'm going to just for all intents and purposes, let's say that you have a food company and a dessert company. They're not competing with each other. They actually just add value to each other. So if you have a new company and you want to get your name out, collaborate with a company. So these are some of the strategic marketing plans and ideas that I've come up with. They're not new. I mean, they're definitely not new, because it is old school marketing. So if you describe me in a nutshell, what I do, it is old school marketing meets social media, because I'm giving the companies the best of both worlds between word of mouth, online, and social media. And here's something interesting. There is a lot of businesses, say franchises, that really can't have their own social media. So it makes it really effective to, if I'm doing a new business, say on a Tuesday, shout out, and I might post about them again on Thursday or maybe Saturday. So as a brand awareness content creator, I am only taking the information about the business and creating awareness. So that's kind of how I'm like the ultimate affiliate marketing person. Because I've been doing this since day one, creating, opportunities for companies to be heard and to be seen through my social media platforms. So, excuse me, I don't want to keep saying, so this has been a really I want to say 4 years in the making of really figuring out what works, what hasn't been working, redoing my booklet. So I actually I have a branding packet. So when I sit down with a one-on-one, I just leave some information about who I am and what I do. And I really kind of try to, at the meeting, hone in and figure out what it is, because sometimes when you meet with a company, sometimes they don't necessarily know what they want. They don't know what they need. So when you have a company or a new business that may not know really where to even start with their marketing, that is why this concept of the 3 and 90 was developed, so that we come up with a plan. I do hold the company accountable, and I hold them to what they are doing. So if they say, April, I want to get into more events, I strategically plan for them to do events, but I need them to be really clear on what it is that they want to accomplish with being at an event. Or if it costs, is this going to be feasible for you to pay this fee? So that's kind of what I would say I do, is I ask simple questions. Keep it simple, silly, or keep it simple, stupid, whatever you want to say. You got to keep your marketing simple, because what I see so many times is that people don't think of the small things, and it is the small things that I will focus on that become the key elements to a successful business. If you are thinking of starting up a company, and you don't even know where to start, my biggest go-to for you is create a vision board. Create your vision, create your why. And then if you are going to be either a service-based business, or if you are going to be a brick and mortar or online, create their why, meaning the customer have their why. Like if you offer a service, your service has to be at the best. So when people are researching you, make sure that you have your ducks in a row, meaning that when they go to search you, and let's say that you own a window company, somebody wants to go ahead and replace their windows for the spring. Well, they're going to start researching companies. Make sure that when they do their research, that you are the first company that pulls up on Google, or when they're researching companies. So that's what I mean by just really honing in. And what I find is that busy business owners really get overwhelmed. So they may not focus on social media. They may not focus on their website. They may not focus on, little things here and there. So that's really what I do, is I ask a lot of questions, and I try to keep it to the point of making it very, very simplified, with, creating an ad or creating something. And so I'm going to just show you a visual thing. So this is actually something that I pulled that I'm actually creating for companies that they can do what they call a buy-in. This is actually what I would consider more advertising, more than marketing. And so I'm coming up with strategic ideas between the marketing and the advertising part to get their name out to the masses of people, between word of mouth, in person, online. And in the beginning, I thought I could just do everything. Thought I could run people's socials. I could do all of this. No, you have to really, that would be my one advice. really know what your focus is and really hone in on it and get really good at few things and then go on to better things. I think as an entrepreneur and having a creative streak, you tend to want to focus on so many things, and that's where I've had my biggest struggle. But luckily, now I've found my team, my tribe of people that I've surrounded with. And when you say you can do it alone, nope, you got to have a really good team of people who, as a business owner, and helping you. And that's where I kind of feel like I fill in the gaps when events are being done, when things are being done. I want to say that I'm very like, I look at the small potatoes. I want to say the small things, but honestly, sometimes the smallest things in a company has led to either the doors closing or the company losing thousands of dollars because certain things were not talked about, certain things were not thought about, things were not discussed. Because if there is not the 3 C's, connection, communication, and collaboration, your business cannot thrive. And that is probably the one thing that I would probably mention most is get your collaborations and partnering up with companies. Now, as an example, say you are a solopreneur, or you might be, say, a speaker, or you have you're a wellness person. So how can you connect with another business in your niche? So let's say you are a massage therapist, and I've actually had a conversation with 2 different massage therapists. I would tell them to connect with businesses in their field. That means other massage therapy. It could be like a skincare line, things that are really good that go on your skin as well as in your body, supplements. That's just an example of what I call the triangle effect. When you connect with other companies that are in your same format. Now, if you are, say, a coach, like working at a gym, partnering up with Bundt Cakes is probably not your best interest of connection and collaboration. But if you are a fitness person, you can, partner up with somebody who, like a company that does healthy smoothies. You could get your information to them and you guys can start working together. That's just an example of when you're thinking, who can I connect with or who can I collaborate with? Make a list of 10 people, and of the 10 people, pick out 3 that can be solid leads. That's how you get leads. So I don't want to, go into being overwhelming, but there again, it's a great opportunity to get into the hands of so many people. One thing that I do on Wednesdays, if you follow me at my Facebook, it's April Hey Ape Frampton at Facebook. On Wednesdays, I do a program that so graciously Dr. JACALYN was allowed me to come on this USA Global TV and Radio to do my 30-minute shout out on kind of what I do with fun facts and trivia. And what the center of that is basically the fun facts and trivia was developed in the very beginning to do giveaways. And I do a lot of giveaways for businesses. That is probably the number one niche of my business, is getting products into the hands of consumers. So I'm doing giveaways, gift cards, discounts, anything that will apply to a business that has my name. And then they say, mention Hey Ape. So that's how it goes. There again, my name is April Frampton. My name there again. So you can see right here. So they're kind of showing some of the reels. So I do actually a lot of I make a lot of reels. I post on a lot of social media. So I tend to almost do a time blogging of what I'm doing. And it will be on my page. So there again, that is April Hey Ape Frampton. If you follow me, I do have Hey Ape, but because I started this page, so I've kind of turned this into almost a business page because I tend to just post so much information about businesses, events that are coming up, brand awareness. And then you can also follow me at my socials at Hey Ape, HEYAPE _ at Instagram. I am at TikTok. It does say Hey Ape. That's at Metal918. I do a lot of live stream. I do a lot of programs. I love to do shout outs for businesses, and I love to bring a lot of awareness to campaigns, to businesses. So one of the businesses that I work with, she is a photographer, ACKOM Studios. I'm going to give her a shout out, ACKOMstudios.com. I do a lot of photo shoots with her for promotional purposes. One thing that I did is I created a reel. I wanted to do a shout out to supporting women, I wanted to support women in business. And so I said, hey, if you have a business, drop it in the comments. I connected with somebody out in New York City. She does feng shui. Just because of one post, I mean, who knows where, that collaboration. And, when you post on social media, you want to make a catchy little hook. So that was actually an attention getter to support local businesses, women in business. So, and speaking of, tonight, I will be doing my fun facts and trivia. So if you turn live, I actually turn characters into creative content, or I actually have a lot of characters that come to my program that are a part of my program. That's a lot of fun. And if you do follow me, and you will see this opportunity to not just connect with me, but now I have connected people all over the world together. So my hashtag, these are my hashtags: changing the world one connection at a time, supporting local, and supporting local businesses. Those are my hashtags, and it is really true. My goal when I started this, I do have a background in filmmaking, which is used for content creation. My goal for this whole thing is really to change the world. And by changing the world, my little part is making those stellar connections through in-person, online, collaboration on Instagram, on Facebook. I don't know that there is a day that I do not send a text to a company, to somebody, connecting them to someone, a business that will help them thrive. So I would have to say that's my biggest thing that I focus on, is those connections, changing the world one connection at a time. And there again, my name is April Frampton. My company is Hey Ape. I do guerrilla marketing, strategic planning for businesses. I'm not sure if my time is up, but I will just keep going. So there you go.
I love it.
Congratulations. Excellent
Yeah.
presentation. We're going to have some questions for you. I just want to welcome some people backstage. KIM-ADELE Randall in the house. Hello. It's so good to see you. It's nice that we also have Blaise backstage, but Blaise, your camera's off, so go ahead and turn that on if you would. There you go. Here comes Blaise. Oops, I see you backstage, but we don't see you on the screen. I'm not sure what's going on there. So anyway, does anyone have any questions or comments for April? Yes, Dr. Chan.
Yes, I do. First of all, April, I just want to congratulate you. You look like a rock star. You look like a rock star of marketing. You really do. Really modern, really bringing something different. And secondly, I love the fact that you have collaboration over competition. Think about, and I love the triangular system, and the fact that just having this collaboration over competition, how many people spend so much money in more advertisements, in more brand awareness because they're competing with someone? You completely cut that out completely. So it's unnecessary funds. That's just a waste at the end of the day, because the new way of business is not competition, it's collaboration, especially through your method, triangular. Congratulations, April. Absolutely mighty congratulations. Lovely.
Thank you.
Yay!
Lovely.
April, we were talking earlier before you got here. We had a presenter, Ann Scotland, talk about branding, and then KIRK Gimenez also talked about. You really have created your own personal brand, which is so cool. Your hair looks great, by the way. I just want to let you know that. How would you describe your branding?
My branding is very okay. So the rocker sign is basically rock and roll. It's a very easy way. My branding is the simple old school method. Hey Ape, hey Ape, mention 20% off and you say, "Hey, Ape," it is a tracking code for businesses to keep track of that business. So it's very old school marketing is what I would describe my marketing. It's old school marketing meets social media. That is my brand. And really, my name is April Frampton, but the Hey Ape, I have been called Ape for years. So the most brilliant thing that came out of working with Sean Banda over at Nothing But Cakes, he's like, let's get you a code. And what he started seeing was his business was thriving so much and we started doing this tracking code. And now I'm like 18% of his business, bringing it to him at the old school method. So that's what I would say my brand is. It's very between my, I wear a lot of hats. I wear a lot of beanies, my clothing. I wear a lot of rings on my fingers. So it's very branded. If you see me, you will recognize my brand because it's very different, unique, and people remember it. So that's kind of my brand. And even my business coach has said, you have a unique brand because people will remember. I'm just like, hey, mention Hey Ape. That's it. Very simple,
it works.
Strategic marketing plan. Thank you.
There we go. We have Blaise on the screen. Blaise has been here since the beginning. We couldn't see you, Blaise. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, April, you did a great job. Justin, any questions or comments you have? KIM-ADELE, Blaise, anything you have for April?
April, I just think you do wonderful stuff for a lot of people, and it's really, really appreciated, I'm sure, by a lot of companies. So great job.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you.
I thought it was great, and I love that. You're really focusing on bringing the individualism out of the business and letting them shine their light. And it reminded me of a quote. As Dr. JACALYN knows, I love a quote. So I'm to throw one in. The quote it reminded me of is that professionals collaborate, amateurs compete. And you're really epitomizing that for organizations, which I love.
Oh my gosh. I literally, you guys, I just have to tell you, I'm getting kind of emotional because you are my people. When I just take what I have always loved to do. And in the beginning, I had everybody in the world telling me I should do something different. I should change. I should do this. And when I walk into a corporate meeting, I am wearing usually an AC/DC t-shirt, a jacket, or a band, and when they leave, they remember. I mean, I was at an event just last weekend and I had my Adamant shirt and my red high top Vans on. And that was the talk of many of the people. They're like, I will remember your Vans. So I'm like, it's like your brand. People remember, what they say. What do they say? Stories or facts tell, stories sell. My story is I just love working with people, my love of music. So here's a little, and I'll do this in 10 seconds. So over the years of being a filmmaker, I've actually spent a lot of years in the film world on sets. So I'm also on a makeup artist. So if you come to my program on Wednesdays, I actually turn myself into characters. To date, I have turned myself into over probably 60 characters, everything from Elvira to Kiss, because the whole idea behind that is that people would come to the program and I would do giveaways on behalf of the businesses to drive the people to the business to pick up their gift or giveaway, or I sent gifts all over the world. And then I started realizing I'm getting too busy. So now I just do giveaways online and in person. So I've changed a little bit, but the shenanigans and the funness does not end. That's it.
Good.
Thank you, April. Thank you so much. And by the way, I hope all of you who are here are connecting with each other. When you see the contact information, please do connect. Okay, we have Blaise and we have KIM-ADELE. I'm not sure which one of you, Blaise, I think you, what country are you in right now?
I'm in Ghana.
You're in Ghana. And KIM-ADELE, you're in London. Or either one of you need to go first?
Okay.
No? Okay, Blaise, we're going to go over to you. So Blaise is a cervical cancer ambassador doing unbelievable work, getting the word out there, helping to educate. Blaise reached out to me, I believe, Blaise, tell me if I'm wrong, but you reached out to me a while ago, I want to say a year or more, through Facebook Messenger, and you had a story to tell. And so we had you on and we interviewed you, and I was really moved by the work that you're doing, the money that you personally are putting out to educate people and to bring awareness around cervical cancer. And as we know, many people die every year of cervical cancer, and you've made it your mission for people to go and get tested, to educate themselves, and to not live in hiding about it. So we'd love to have you go ahead and share your story.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. Thank you for this opportunity. In fact, I'm really happy to join these great speakers to also share my side of what I've been doing for the past years. In fact, for the past 8 years, I started this advocacy on cervical cancer. I realized that most people in our parts of the world, Ghana, lacked that kind of education that they needed to know about cervical cancer. At times, you ask people what cervical cancer is, and I bet you even get women who cannot even tell you what cervical cancer is. People don't even know where their cervix is. So it makes it difficult for some of these women to easily report any sign or symptom to the nearest hospital for them to be catered for. So I believe that we usually have an idea that prevention is better than cure, but I believe that prevention is cure. Usually when we try to educate these women, let them know the risk factors involved in some of these cancer cases, I think they can really visit the nearest hospital whenever they go through this situation. So I believe that cancer is something that no one can fight cancer alone. Cancer fight is a collective effort, and we need to come together to be able to do. So when I started this journey, it was a difficult one, of course. From where I come from, people there's a kind of ignorance where people believe in more of like going to church whenever they are facing any form of a sign or symptom rather than going to the hospital. So it makes at times some of the educations teaching them becomes very difficult. Certain religions too frown against probably their wives going naked in front of a doctor or in front of a midwife or nurse to be screened of cervical cancer. So it makes people refrain from even going to the hospital in the first place to do it. So it made the work very difficult. But as time goes through education, people are now getting to understand the concepts of cervical cancer. People are now becoming to understand the risk factors. People are now becoming to get that kind of idea that no, I need to always report whenever I see any sign. And I usually say you don't even have to see any sign before you visit the hospital to report. I know in elsewhere in some parts of the world, your pap smears, your smears, you get dates, you get appointment dates of which you have to go in and take your smears. But with our part of the world, people find it very difficult because of finances. People don't have money to undergo this kind of social, to undergo this kind of screening. So I took it upon myself to move across the 16 regions of Ghana to educate these women, let them know that cervical cancer is real. Most people believe that cancer is far away from them, but I tell them cancer is closer to you. Cancer is very closer to you. So you need to take the prompt action so that we can deal with it. So I move across these regions of Ghana to help educate these women and also screen them as well. And it's for free. And all these things are things that are not being funded by the government. In fact, all these things sometimes are being funded by myself. And I'm also lucky to also belong to an organization called Cancer Support Network Foundation, of which Dr. Juliet Apia Kwanzaa is the founder. And she's also a medical oncologist and hematologist in the United States. And she has also done a marvelous work whenever it comes to cervical cancer screenings. She supports all out from her own money to help us screen these women. And the good aspect of these things is whenever we screen someone, it turns out positive. The person is being affected with cervical cancer. She follows up pay the person's bill to undergo treatment for free. And we all know cancer treatment is very expensive. And actually, when you take about 100 women who present to the hospital with cervical cancer, about 90 of them come in the advanced stage, of which little can be done for them. So through the various screenings, we've been able to identify some few cases where they've been able to undergo these screenings, and at least further investigations have been done for them, and they are doing well till now. And recently, June is Cancer Survivors Month, and June Cancer Support Network Foundation, we decided to celebrate all those brave women who have went through the cancer battle and have survived. Survivorship starts from the word diagnosis. As soon as you are being diagnosed, you are a survivor, because it's at times you might not even see. So the moment you see that, no, I've been diagnosed of cancer, that's where your survivorship starts from. So we had a walk for all the cancer survivors, trying to create a kind of perception that cancer is not only about deaths. We have people who have survived it. And if you can survive it, you can survive when you see it early. Early detection is key. And in our parts of the world, at times someone might detect this cancer at the early stage, but because of lack of finances, the person might not go to the hospital and end up in prayer camps and end up with some herbal medications. And at the end of the day, they'll present to the hospital lately, and there's little that can be done for them. We only do what we call a palliative care, where the person will be relieved of symptoms, but the cancer itself, the person cannot be cured of. So we are trying to let people know that cervical cancer is real. I know that cervical cancer now is a public health problem that we all need to be aware of in the world, because if we don't take care, within the next few years, this cervical cancer cases will increase, because HPV infection, which is the main cause for cervical cancer, this infection keeps on spreading from one person to another. And mind you, usually I say HPV infection is the most, it's a merciful virus, because usually it can take about 30 years before it can cause changes on the cells of your cervix. So we believe that whenever we choose right lifestyle choices, we choose the right partners who don't have multiple sexual partners. A woman might be having a single partner, but the partner is having multiple sexual partners. Most some ladies, or even our children, some of them started sex at an early age, of which you can find a 9-year-old girl, a 10-year-old girl who has started early sex initiation. And all these things are things that are predisposing them, and they lack that kind of guidance. So we need to also guide them in a certain way, educate them in a certain way, so that they will know that these are the consequences of engaging in early sex. And if you don't take it in the near future, maybe cervical cancer might set in and you find yourself wanted. And our lifestyle, smoking. Smoking has been something that I have personally taken upon myself to help educate people about the negative effects. Now, cigarettes even contains about 69 chemicals that can cause cancer. And the world is evolving. There are many forms of tobaccos that are coming into the system. Now, it's like this tobacco industry, or the tobacco industry, has evolved, and now we have something that we call shisha. Most people now prefer to smoke through pipes. Most people now prefer, when they are smoking through the pipes with the tobacco, with flavors mixed. So they think that these shishas are the safest way to smoke, which is really not true. And people can take shisha for like an hour or two, and an hour section of shisha, according to World Health Organization, is like about 100 sticks of cigarettes. And this thing has been something which is really killing our youth. And if we don't even take care, within the next 5 to 10 years, most of our youth will be developing cancers, because they are becoming addicted to some of these cigarettes that are in the system. We have the e-cigarettes, the chargeable ones that people are most likely to expose to. And one sad thing is, someone might not be taking the cigarette directly, but might be sitting beside someone who is taking it. Like, active smokers, they take it directly. We those who sit aside and inhale this amount of smoke are the passive smokers, and we are those who are even facing the consequences the most. So it's high time we help educate these people so that they know the negative impact of this thing. And our diet, so I let people know that diet can make you and will make you. Our diet, we are what we eat. So a lot of our junk foods, the ready to eat foods, you just open it, you are eating the fried foods and the fatty food. All these things are things that can predispose us to a lot of cancers. So we usually advocate that people should, instead of eating a lot of red meat, people should rather eat a lot of red vegetables. Tomatoes is a very good antioxidant. It contains lycopene, and as we know, lycopene help fight cancer cells. Carrots contains beta carotene. It helps fight cancer cells. We have the cucumber, the garden eggs. All these things are the green leafy vegetable. All these things, our fruits, all these things are things that can help boost our immunity. Because one advantage is whenever you are being exposed to the HPV infection, your system is able to deal with the virus on its own. Currently in Ghana, every year, about 1,699 women are being diagnosed of cervical cancer. And most people even die in the villages, and statistics will not even capture them. So it's something that we are trying as much as possible to create awareness and screen as much as we can, so that all these women, if there's anything, we can detect it early and much can be done for these women. So for the first time in Ghana, as I said earlier on, we introduced the Cancer Survivors Month. That was in June. And we started with our walk. We walked through the principal streets of Accra to create those kind of awareness, let people know that cancer is real, cancer is there, but this is a testimony of people who have survived it. And on the 22nd of June, this coming Saturday, we'll be having a Zoom conference talk where we'll have most of these cancer survivors share their story, share their journey with people. And all these stories will help encourage people to be able to screen for these cancers that they went through. And on the 29th, that's where we'll be having our dinner night. We are trying to make these women happier. Some of them, they are down psychologically. Some of them, they need to mingle. They need to have that kind of experience and feel that we are part of them. We are part of them, and those kind of encouragements that we have for them, we'll give it to them, and we'll all come together and share this kind of common goals that we are encouraging them to continue their journey and also encourage them on their lifestyle. So I would like to share my screen a little bit on how the journey of Cancer Support Network Foundation has been so far. In fact, we've done a lot. We've done a lot for the past years, and in fact, I'm sharing my screen. Please, can you see my screen? Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we see your screen.
Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we see your screen.
Yes. So, so our main, so this is the cancer survivors. The June is National Cancer Survivors Month, that we are trying to create this awareness. And with this kind of survivors that we have the cervical cancer survivor, we have the breast cancer, we have the colorectal cancers over there, and we have one lady who has been battling with rectal cancer that currently we are supporting to undergo treatment for free. And mind you, all these funds are coming from a single individual who is in the person of Dr. Juliet Apia Kwanzaa, a medical oncologist in the US, currently helping with the donations to help these people undergo. And we as an organization, we believe that when people are being hit by cancer, they need that kind of social and emotional support to undergo the treatment. And we want to get to a stage that the world will not be threatened by cancer. People have that kind of fear whenever they hear the name cancer. We want to get to a point that we'll be able to increase our awareness creation on cancer so that people become more aware of themselves. And we have some series of programs that we have gone to. And I think the recent one, let me share some highlights of the work that we had on the 8th of June. So all these people that we are seeing, they are all cancer survivors. Some are breast, some are cervical cancer. We have lovely pictures, and some of them, their kids came around to also support their parents. Yeah, so I survived cancer. My mother survived cancer. Survivors inspired us. So we have all these things that went on the 8th of June with our survivors, and it was something that we really enjoyed very much. So this is another excuse me. We held a breast screening too, and so yeah, this is where I was giving my health talk, and we have these women who were ready to be screened, and we had this case. I'm sorry this picture is a little. We had this case. So the one funny thing is, this woman had never visited a hospital before. This was the situation of the breast, and through our screenings, we came in, we did a screen, and now we are trying to support this woman undergo treatment for free. And we have our team of medical professionals who were also there to support our screening processes. So it has been a lovely journey, and a journey that we want to embrace for the next years, and let people know that there's more hope after cancer diagnosis. There's more hope after cancer diagnosis, and any screening that you need to involve yourself in, you try as much as possible, do these screenings, and I know in the coming years we'll all help in the fight against this cancer. So we are trying to encourage each and everyone, embrace yourself and undergo these screenings. Thank you.
Thank you, Blaise. Blaise, yeah, that was a very powerful presentation, and you're doing incredible work. I'm always just overcome with emotion with how you've really put yourself out there for this cause. Anyone want to share a comment or a question with Blaise?
I think just the work you're doing is amazing, and I think education is the key, isn't it? And giving people access to the information and also access to the support is life-changing. So keep going.
I was going to say, Blaise, I find it amazing the fact that you are a living testimony. You're actually a living testimony, and the fact that the new movement in Ghana of educating about the health system, about cancer, especially in the way that they always thought, oh, we've got cancer, so we're gonna deplete, we're gonna die. But now you've given them a new kind of source of life, a new way. So congratulations, Blaise.
Thank you.
Your heart is so big.
Thank you.
April, you wanted to say something? You are on mute, dear.
I think
there we go. There we go.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was I could create content, but I can't figure it out. It's the small things, guys. It's the small things. I just want to say thank you to you, Blaise, for bringing awareness. I've actually worked with a lot of charity organizations that have reached out to me for humanitarian, and one of them actually, as of recent, was actually in Africa to help with her orphanage. So I love connecting, and the whole thing with what I do, that connecting the world one connection at a time. I mean, this is one thing that I've also done a lot of, which is fundraising. And I came up with a campaign to do a tri-state fundraiser. The money that actually would be raised through local funds here would have actually gone to the cause in Africa, would have been the end result. So I love what you're doing. And, you know, I think by us, I posted this in the chat that I love giving a shout out, because you never know who you're going to reach on your social platform to help somebody else in their cause. And that's one thing that I do often, is create content for the businesses to bring awareness. So that's my 2 cents, or my thing for you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, and yeah, I'd love to stay connected and see how we can get some more awareness for you. That's mine.
Thank you.
Kind of what I have to say.
Yeah, I'll get
Fantastic. So
connected.
hopefully you two will also go ahead and connect. And by the way, everyone's contact information is in the notes. So if you go to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio, you look for the show, you'll see all the comments. Robert J. Moore wrote a comment. Yes, sir, you were number 3 way back when we first started, but we didn't see you. So we'll hopefully see you on Saturday. All right, we're going to go over to KIM-ADELE Randall. KIM-ADELE is one of our TV show hosts here. We have been together for years also. She's also in London, and she has her own platform called Authentic Achievements. She has an incredible story, which you have to watch some of our shows, because she shares that she overcame it all. And she is a coach, she's a mentor, she's an author, and she's also a TEDx speaker. So KIM-ADELE, over to you.
Oh, wow. You're always so very kind to me, Dr. JACALYN, so thank you. And I have loved and I'm very honoured to have been with you from the start. And you've not kicked me off yet, which is something I'm always super grateful for. So as anybody who's seen any of our shows knows, life has given me plenty of opportunity. And I think that's what life gives us. So I've learned through various things that have gone well, things that haven't gone well, that everything in life is either a lesson, a blessing, or both. And in the moments where I'm not feeling very blessed, I look for the lesson, and the blessing is wrapped up right within there. And I think it just helps us to do the reframe. And it was one of those, actually it was a series of those challenges that I faced back in my little girl's early life. So my little girl Scarlett is 7.5 now, and she is my absolute North Star. But I had my first potentially life-threatening experience when she was only 9 months old, and I survived that. I was super lucky. But then I went on to have a second one just before she was 2, and at that point realised I needed to do something differently. So I was at the time doing transformational change as a C-suite leader for organisations like Barclays, RBS, Sage, etc. And I realised I couldn't be a good single mum and be a good full-time C-suite leader. And so something had to change. And that actually came to me whilst I was in intensive care, and realised that if I got out of there, I would do something very, very different. And that was coming up for 6 years ago. So I quit my full-time job, which was a little bit scary, and I started up my own business to take all the stuff that I'd learned over those nearly 25 years in corporate life and actually help other businesses to transform, to get ready, to be scalable, and to be able to have the right answer to the question, what's your exit strategy? Because lots of us as business owners, we don't have the end in mind, and yet the end's going to happen, sadly. So if we don't have the end in mind, if we haven't started thinking about how do we actually, where does this business go next? Do we float it? Do we do a management buyout? Do we leave it to family? If we've not done the thinking of that and got the organisation ready and the infrastructure in place, then actually it will go when we go. And that seems so sad when people have been putting so much time, effort, love and resource into building their business. So I started to run my organisation, which basically goes in and does fractional C-suite work or coaching to help organizations get themselves investor ready, so that that organization can thrive. And off the back of that, I was given the absolute privilege to co-author my first book, literally on day one of lockdown. When somebody rang me and said, Kim, we're writing a book about remote working and you've led remote teams for years, could you write a chapter? And in those throes of like not believing in myself, I was sitting there going, no, I can't do that. I can't even write a shopping list. Certainly can't write a chapter of a book. But as they said to me, Kim, you're locked in with a 2-year-old. What else are you going to do with your time? And I was like, this is a fair point. That's a fair point. I could write it, and if it's rubbish, you don't have to include it anywhere. And then they came up with the second challenge, which was you've got 5 days to write it. And so I did. I wrote it and I submitted it. And then in the most bizarre twist of life, on day 10 we published. On day 11 I was on BBC Radio London talking about what it's like to become an international bestseller in 4 countries during lockdown. And I guess that pretty much sums up my life. Is there has been so many amazing opportunities like that. And I think the one thing that I always say to people is, you know, when the opportunity comes, take it, because the person who's giving it you believes in you. I was at an event on Saturday, an amazing event, Women of the Year alumni event over here in the UK. And these amazing, amazing women who've really got some outstanding things that they've delivered. And yet the amount of times the self-doubt came up in the conversation, that imposter syndrome, that fear that actually we're not good enough, that you start to go, well, hold on, what can we do differently? And one of the things I shared with a few people, and the feedback I got back afterwards was, oh my God, that's really helpful, is we can get stuck in our head. We can get stuck in that place where we doubt ourselves, and the things we say to ourselves sound so plausible. And we say things to ourselves that we would never, ever, ever say to another human being. And so one of the things that I learned to do was go, hold on, I realized for years, people that I aspired to be like would give me awards, or they would give me an opportunity, and I'd be there going, if only they knew, if they knew I knew that I'm hopeless, they wouldn't have done this. And then it hit me in a moment, and I hope this might resonate with anybody watching or listening, that inadvertently I was making my opinion that I was rubbish more valid and more likely than their opinion that I was really good. And that made no sense, because I didn't trust my opinion of me. I didn't rate myself very highly at all. And so I, in that moment, realized I could borrow their belief, because when somebody asks you to do something, they do it because they believe that you are going to be successful. Because if you're not successful, they look stupid just as much as you do. And most of us are fearful of looking stupid. So when somebody asks you to do something, asks you to do that speech, asks you to come on a show like this, trust that they believe that you are going to be successful, and borrow their belief. And you'll be amazed how quickly that helps you shift that mindset piece. And that's what really got me into setting up my platform, which was Authentic Achievements, which was probably set up about 4.5 years ago now. And the idea being, actually, I believe we all have a story. And in sharing our lived experience, we might just reach one person that is going to get something beneficial out of hearing our lived experience. And so that's where Authentic Achievements was born from, to be able to share those stories and inspirations with other people to hopefully reach whoever needs it on that day. And then I was super lucky and very grateful to be invited by the lovely Dr. JACALYN to initially come on a show, and then be given the privilege of co-hosting a show. And I'm always pinching myself at the amazing people that I get to meet and the amazing stories that I get to share. And just that reminder that in every single day, we can learn something. You know, my grandparents gave me 2 bits of advice, and I think between them, they've pretty much nailed it. So my nan said, make every day a school day. So in every day, we should learn something, so that we are constantly evolving and staying relevant. And my granddad said, live every day as if it should last, and one day you'll be right. And I think what he meant by that was, don't put off to tomorrow something you can do today, because tomorrow's not promised. And so I really try and pinch myself. And when I'm given these opportunities, just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Because once we start to do that, once we actually start to put ourselves out there and have those conversations, you realize most of the people are facing the same fear you are. And that gives you camaraderie. It gives you that ability to be able to go on and do things that you didn't think you were going to achieve. And I think the other thing for me, I'm very conscious of, is our children don't learn by what we say or what we do. They learn by what we say, what we do, and how we are, how we show up, what's our approach to life. They're constantly watching. And so that is my always reminder, is Scarlett's watching this. If I want her to be brave and fulfill whatever dream she's got in the world, I've got to show her that it's okay to face your fear and take the next step.
Woo!
Some golden nuggets of advice there. Wisdom.
That was awesome.
Brilliant as always.
Yeah.
KIM-ADELE, I get the pleasure of seeing you twice a month. Your show is tomorrow, actually, right? It was Thursday, yeah. But so I want to open it up to the others who might have some questions or comments. Who wants to share something with KIM-ADELE?
I'd like to just to say, first and foremost, Kim, I just want to say, I think your grandma, was it your grandma that said, make every day a school day?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. You evolve, you grow. I love it. I love it. That just, and being a TEDx speaker as well, I would have liked to have known how you were with that.
It was honestly the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, ever. And it was funny because I shared quite a personal story. And I worried as I was getting out there, that was like, oh my God, is that a bit self-indulgent? I mean, hopefully it was about the message I learned and where people are going. But I remember standing there thinking, no, it's going to be interesting. Let's just shut up and go away. It was funny. I was talking to the people that had, that were hosting the event. And he said to me afterwards, he said, do you know what was fascinating? He said, in the run-up on the day, he said, you did everyone's hair and makeup. You were cheering everybody on. So I started when I left school as a hairdresser, just because that makes that piece a little bit make more sense. So it was like I was a hairdresser before I went into corporate financial services. So I was doing people's makeup. He said you were giving them great pep talks before they went on. You know, you've got this. You've got a great message. He said you really cheered everybody up. He said, and then I heard what you said to yourself just before you went on, and I was like, oh dear, I didn't think anybody had heard that, because although I cheered everybody else, and come on, you know, you've got this message, you can get out there. The message I actually gave to myself was, I looked at myself in the reflection in the window, went, for crying out loud, it's 12 minutes. Just get over yourself. And it's interesting how what we say to ourselves is so very different to what we say to somebody else, and yet we're with us all of the time. So why do we choose to be our worst enemy instead of trying to become our own best friend? And it's definitely for me a big work in progress. But I now when I find myself saying something awful to myself, I go and stand in front of the mirror and make myself look at myself while I say it, because looking at another human being, even yourself, does make you start to really hear the words you're using, and then question, would I ever say this to anybody else? And if not, why on earth am I willing to say it to myself?
Yeah.
And
yes.
overwhelmed. Thank you for
I loved, so man, KIM-ADELE, I have to just say that you've just given me some brilliant content. I've actually written these quotes down. They're beautiful. A lesson or a blessing or both. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Make every day a school day to learn something, and then live your day like it's your last. Kudos to your grandparents. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. So I do I'm trying to get myself, I want to say this is the year of education. I've got a business coach. I met Dr. JACALYN. I'm doing mastermind classes. I've learned a lot, but at the end of the day, the biggest thing is that people sometimes have to understand, like in business, yourself, you become a different version of yourself every day. And you may see someone that you haven't seen for years, and they don't know what you've done. They just remember what they saw so many years ago. And so that is the number one thing I say to people. Always remember, you have become the best version of yourself. You change, you evolve every day. This is absolutely beautiful. You're a beautiful lady. That's my 2 cents. I just have to say thank you. As a content creator who creates content every day, I'm always looking for my next jam. I am going to actually do a shout out to you because this is really good stuff. You can inspire somebody. So anyway, that's it. That's what I got.
Oh, wow. Thank
Yes.
you. You're so
So,
kind.
yes. So I also like to commend you for the wonderful work. In fact, I'm also inspired by your works. What I want to say is just keep being you. Just keep being you. And the moment you realize that you're about giving up, know that God is by your side. And I know we'll all help achieve this goal. So thank you very much for inspiring all of us. And
Oh,
good job.
Place, thank you. That means the world to me. And I think, you know, that is all we're supposed to be. You know, we're supposed to be whoever we are. I say to my little girl all the time, do you. And I think it was Oscar Wilde that said, be yourself, everyone else is taken.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly reminded of that. You don't need to be anybody else. You should just be you. And the same should be true for, like, what is our measure of success? My measure of success could be very different to anybody else's. That's okay. That's my measure of success. And so I think once we, and I learned, mine was very, it took a long time, evolved for a lot of years. But I remember for a long time trying to fit into the mold of being corporate Britain. And, you know, you had to, everything in my wardrobe was black and an occasional bit of navy blue thrown in for colour, because it was so very structured. And then I remember going for this job, and it was UK head of sales for Sage at the time. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, Kim, if you get the job, you can't do that job whilst trying to be somebody you're not. It's too hard. It's going to be too difficult. And so I thought, I'm just going to turn up and I'm going to be me. And if they don't like that, then I'd rather them find out now than later on. And I remember, and poor Dr. JACALYN's heard this story before, but I remember being in the interview with the global people director at the end of the interview, and she said, so Kim, if you could sum yourself up in a word, what would it be? And I was like, loud. And she did look a bit taken aback. She was like, loud? And I was like, yeah, so you've known me for what, 50 minutes? And she went, yeah. So do you think I'm loud? And she went, well, now you mention it, great. It's self-aware and it's honest. I'll stick with it. And she says, that's what got you the job. She says, you never changed. Didn't matter if things were going well or they weren't going well. You showed up and you were you. And I was like, well, I don't know how to be anybody else. And I realized in that moment, I don't know how to be anybody else. So I may as well stop pretending that I'm not who I am and own up to my flaws, and then work on them, because we are all perfectly imperfect. And yet we've created a world that is trying to compare us all to a seeming perfection that we can't ever achieve, because our perfection, I believe, is our imperfection. Our imperfection is the part where we bring our sparkle to shine on the world. And I think if we can own that imperfection and work on it, that's going to be the biggest difference.
Absolutely. That was brilliant. I love that. Obviously, we've all taken something away from what you shared, Kim-ADELE. So thank you for that. We are coming to the end of our program, and Dr. Madeline Chan is going to have her 15 minutes. So let's hear what she has to say.
Well, thank you. A big shout out to all our guests, all our entrepreneurs and professional in every way, and their words of wisdom, their nuggets of wisdom. Just want to say thank you. And I want to especially say thank you to Dr. JACALYN. If it wasn't for Dr. JACALYN, honestly, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be as a presenter, because my role has been a singer-songwriter, an awarded singer-songwriter, been in the music industry, had some hits and everything, and came away from there, found how very like a puppet I was, and I just had to come along and come away and find my own identity. And so with that, I had almost I became more spiritual but creative. And so I started to write content songs that were more about my journey and other people's journey, but even though you go through all the shadow and the suffering and the lesson, it's almost on the other side of the song, I would bring in almost the solution to it, or the happiness, the outcome of that pain, turning that pain into superpower. So I'm a soul heart awakener, and what I do is I help to connect to people's creative genius within them, because I believe with all my heart that everyone is born with a soul song, with a soul language, with a divine mission. Everyone has a divine mission in this world, and it's about going through the lessons to find who you are and to awaken to who you are. And sometimes you need a little bit of help with that, so I help to connect to that soul, the divine feminine, which is the inner intuition. So you use your inner intuition, your creative side, and you balance it out with the outside world. So you have a nice balance. You're living from the inside out rather than the outside in. And with that, I got together with some musicians and we brought out songsforyou.co.uk. And what we do is we help people who have got a book out there to write a song, almost their own song, their testimony in a song of any style and genre they wish. At the same time, there's the song that's going to be the family generational song. Let's say when a newborn comes into the family, everyone's super excited. The parents, the grandparents, the uncles. So how about they write like a paragraph of how they're looking forward to the birth of the new little one to the family. Then what happens when the baby grows up? Let's say the baby, when it grows up in 7, 8 years old, suddenly they're dealing with certain pressures at school. So they need that comfort blanket. So they have the family generational song. They can pop that on, and all of a sudden they've got that love vibration surrounding them. If they're away at college, they can put that song on. They've got that love vibration. If they're going through pain and suffering, then they put that song on, and they know they have that song that's just going to lift their vibration and know they are loved. So it doesn't matter what comes to them in through life, they are lifted up with that vibration, with those words, with that network of beautiful, with their family, their soul brother, soul sister. Also, let's say you forgot to say the beautiful word to the person that passed away. Say it in a song. Say it in a song. We've got workshops where, let's say, if somebody says, "Oh, so what do you want to achieve?" and some people get scared and they're going, "Oh, I don't know what to say. I have no idea what to say." Go to your interview and sing it out. Sing what you want to do. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine actually going to your interview and actually saying, "So, what do you see, Miss Chan or whoever? What do you see yourself in 5 years' time?" And then you just sing out, and they'll be taken aback, and they'll be going, "Wow, wow," and they'll be listening. So they'll have a heightened listening because you've got that melody, you've got that voice, and it breaks down the barriers, doesn't it? It really does. I help people to connect to their star child within and bring it out to come to play. So and the star child within is your creative genius. So that's what I do. I've got my book. Where is it now? Here we go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, Star Child, which is about helping some awakened earthlings and cosmic beings that come together to help Mother Earth through the sound of cosmic rays and certain vibration of frequency of music, and also affirmations and words of wisdom, but coming from a heart center. Then you've got words of divine love and wisdom, which I wrote during the pandemic. And it's about sonnets of making the transition from a 3D matrix to more of a free, abundant set, bringing your mind shift to a higher perception and looking at life in a different way, in a different perception. And that's what myself and Dr. Jacqualyn, I joined Dr. Jacqualyn, and we've got these fantastic courses for the power of elevated listening courses. And there's one specifically about transitioning from your shadow, your pain, your fear, anxiety, to find your inner happiness and express that out. Connection to plants, Mother Nature, finding your voice. That's what I do. My name's Dr. Madalene Chan. I am a creative soul heart awakener. Oh, not forgetting, we have our book, me and Dr. Jacqualyn. There's just so much, isn't there? There really is. Yeah, we have the book, which is the Creative Hearts Awakening. This is our book too. And we're looking for special individuals. Oh, this is the courses. I'm rushing. There you go. The transition, it's called Facing the Shadows of Self. And as you can see, there's a tree that's barren, that's kind of lost its luscious greenery leaves, and the tree that's full of life. So you have the tree of good and evil, which is the tree of the matrix, and the tree of life, which is abundant, about you showing up as you and being the highest version of you, an emotional, physical, mental, and energy auric level, energy level. And that's what myself and Dr. Jacqualyn have brought together. We've got the power of nature and plants when you're connected with planting, and also with what you love to have, whether it's crystals, rocks, feathers, anything that's your identity. Because what's important in this life, and this is what KIM-ADELE said, or was it? No, it was Oscar Wilde. You know, be yourself because everyone else is taken. And that's what's happening right now. Masks are off, and we can only be who we are. And we can't put up with certain attitudes and certain things that people have thrown at us. So here we come to the Creative Heart Awakening book. This is book 2, because book 1 did extremely well. And now myself and Dr. Jacqualyn have joined together for book 2. This is about bringing your story to life, bringing your passion, your purpose, what you want to share with people, how you want to move, how you want to be part of this massive movement of creating, co-creating with the creator, with the universe, and manifesting, and to not about competition, collaboration. So big shout out to April, because she brought that through about anyway, I'm losing myself. So so please do contact myself and Dr. Jacqualyn. Definitely go on the website, usaglobaltv.com, and have a look. Dr. Jacqualyn's just shown you. And please do sign up for the Creative Hearts Awakening. This is the movement. This is the new testimony. This is the new Bible of life, if you think about it, or the thesaurus of human. Oh, thank you. Thesaurus of human collective consciousness of a creative heart's awakening, which we become. A creative heart awakening is being connected to our creative genius, sharing it out in the world, and making a grand impact. I think that's it, really.
Ooh, I was on my rollerblades going here and there trying to get the content. Okay. Woo.
Oh, you know me, Dr. Jacqualyn, and yourself, Dr. Jacqualyn. We want to hear of the CEO of the mothership, this colossal mothership.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chan. But first, does anyone have any comments or questions for Dr. Chan?
I do.
All right.
Dr. Chan, I just have to say, I'm feeling your vibe all the way from where you're at. I felt it. I felt it in my person, and I felt it in my spirit. And you have nailed how I work with businesses, because when I walk through their door, the start of their marketing idea comes from the very look, feel, and how it strategizes from a look and feel, which goes back to the energy vibe. It is all a vibe. And if the company is, or if people, whatever your cause is, if your energy is off, your employees will be off, everything about your business will not thrive. It's what you just said about the tree of life. If you don't water consistently, and I'm just going to say, like, if you have people who are under you and you're constantly negative, they will die on the vine. Your business will do the same. You nailed it, girl. Woo!
You nailed it too, April.
I don't know if we can play music, but I mean, a big part of my creation all started with my love of music, film, and TV. And if you wonder what film genre I love, okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is horror genre. I produced my first horror film when I started producing. So I wish I could play music. I just don't know if we'll get in trouble. But if I did, it would be Bachman Turner Overdrive, taking care of business, because that's what this group is. Taking care of business every day.
I love it.
I don't want to get anybody in trouble from that, but I would play a 6-second clip of you dedicating some songs to y'all. So there you go.
Hey, April,
right.
how
Thank
about
you
you
very
having
much.
your own song? How about you having your own song? Let's work together. Let's connect.
I love it.
You know, I agree. So in my mindset, I'm actually going to put a bash together and have bands and music. And I'm going to do a tribute to how all this evolved, and it will involve businesses, vendors, and inviting anyone that wants to come to this bash for what we are talking here, to bring this energy to a real place. There we go. That's what I'm actually putting together now.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'm going to close out the show with just a little bit about what we're doing here. So I'm going to put myself on spotlight. Here we go. I'll be quick. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's a true honor. For those of you who know me, I started out in corporates, and then I got my certification to be a life, career, and executive coach. I got my fitness certifications. Pandemic hits, and I was doing a radio show. And so, long story short, here we are today. I started out as Rapping with Dr. JACALYN, and now have my own personal brand, which is Dr. JACALYN, which is trademarked and registered, and also USA Global TV and Radio is my baby. So it's just such an honor to be here with people who've been with me since the very beginning and people who have joined us recently. So just a little bit of information. We have now currently, I think, 45 shows. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just walk you through what it is that we're doing. Of course, now that I'm doing it for myself, I can't even find my own website. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm going to share the website. And we talked earlier about branding, and I feel branding is important also. Our branding here is red, white, and blue. And so when you come here, you'll see across the top, home. We also have a new segment, which is called Royal Breaking News from London. This is a segment that's on every day. It's about 3 to 5 minutes. And our expert correspondents, who are royal family experts, Ian Pelham Turner and Helen Ashard, you can Google them. You can find them on all the major platforms across the world. They do an update about something that's going on over there. So next, I wanted to show you about our shows. And so if you come down here, you can see where we're streaming, and look how we've grown. I haven't even added all the rest of the platforms on here, but first we were on Facebook, then we're on Facebook and YouTube, and then Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. And of course, now we've grown. I don't have Zizzle TV on here, but if you saw earlier, Zizzle TV, KIRK Jimenez's platform is on 300 different destinations. And oh, by the way, here's some information about that. So you can come down here and you can see our shows. Some of the shows are current, and some, like this one, Secrets to Timeless Beauty, Katrina Valente, who's a beautiful person. She's in Dubai. She wanted to start a different show. So a lot of times that's what people want to do. They start with one topic and then they want to go somewhere else. But you can click the watch now, and you can watch any and all of our shows in their own playlist over on YouTube. I love YouTube because I get real information from them. I can see how many people are watching, where they're watching from, how long they're watching, what people like. Here's Ann Scotland. This was one of her earlier shows, Global Socialpreneurs. And again, they're all here. So we can keep scrolling, but I don't want to not mention anyone's show for anyone who might be watching now or later. So you can see there's quite a lot of shows here. All right. Wow, even more shows than what I thought. Here's Anne, who was here earlier. Okay, so we've got a lot of choices for people. So you can come here as a guest and you can book in on almost all the shows, not all of them, because some of the shows are very specific and the show host wants to have certain people be their guests. And an example of that would be the Perfect Podcast Show. I think I passed it somewhere. So Keith is an expert at improv. He's known around the world for the work that he's done for improv and also in his books. And he wants to have certain people on the show. So it's not just a show for anyone to go and book in on. Here it is, the Perfect Podcast Show. So that's an example. So if you are somebody who wants to book in, come to this location, usaglobaltv.com/book your session, and then go ahead and book in. Now, there's no fee to book in on any of those shows unless you're being interviewed by me. Ooh, why is that? Am I a mean person? No, because I've done over 5,000 interviews. And to be quite honest with you, the way I look at it is if I'm going to be hosting a TV show, I want some kind of compensation because otherwise I'd rather be producing because there's so many pieces to this pie that for me to stand and get here focused and interview someone. So I think it's $29.99, which is a very small amount of money. So that's the first point. The second point is maybe you're thinking of having your own television show. What does that look like? How can you join us? So in the beginning, what I would do is I would sit and speak with people and we would figure out something that would work. And now we're at this stage because we are so large that I do want to speak to everyone who's interested, but we have something on our website now. It makes it so easy. You can come here and you can look at what are the services. So I've done a lot of research about what's going on in the industry and the value that we add. And so that's how we've come up with this pricing. But let me just walk you through what the various choices are. The first service on the left is distribution of your already produced content. So you are a creator, you already have content, and you want to distribute it on as many platforms as possible. Super fantastic. We would love to have you distribute your content that you've already created. That's $179 to $259 a month. Now, everyone signs a contract so that everybody knows what to expect, but we don't want to hold anyone captive here. If you don't want to be here anymore, just give us 30 days notice and then we part ways. We'll still keep your show graphic up onto the website and tie it to the YouTube playlist so that people can still find your shows. Okay, next, let's say you want to host your own TV show and it's going to be live. It's a 40-minute live show. We'll produce it, we'll mark it, we'll do the search engine optimization, we'll distribute it across the platforms that we shared earlier. That's between $600 and $997 a month. Now you might say, well, what's the difference? Well, are you doing it once a month? Are you doing it twice a month? How often are you doing it? So that's how we figure out that. Next, all the way over on the right, you get to co-host a TV show with me. This is more expensive. Why? As I already explained. So I charge personally as a coach between $500 and $800 an hour. So I'm really streamlining my costing. But for me, it would be to work with me is $997 to $1,200 a month. Now I train you. And then I can throw you out into the wind if you want so that you can stand on your own 2 feet and you could actually come back as hosting your own show. I love to watch our team just grow and flourish. Many people started out doing the shows with me, and some people still like to do the shows with me, but some people want to eventually go out on their own, which is great, any and all of those combinations. The next is to be an expert presenter on our Talking Heads platform. Talking Heads is a platform where people who have at least 5 years of experience, they've got the following, they know how to present, they have their own show as an expert presenter. Now, as a talking head, you have an option. Let's say you want to present on how to sell your book, or how to write a book, or how to cook a roast, or whatever the thing is, and you're not available to do it every week, you can actually team up with some other people. So let's say you're a chef and your specialty is baking, but you don't know the entrees and all these other things. You could find 3 other people who could come and split that cost with you as a talking head. So maybe you're doing talking heads the first week of the month, and then somebody else the second, then somebody the third, and somebody the fourth. The difference is a talking head is presenting. You are the expert and you're educating, as opposed to being a TV show host where you're interacting, you're interviewing, you're listening. This is straight out you presenting. Next, you can be a panelist on a woman's prerogative. What is this? We have an incredible show that's called A Woman's Prerogative. And A Woman's Prerogative takes place on Mondays. We actually have 2 episodes, part 1 and part 2, because our team members live in different parts of the world. And at a certain time during the year, whether it's daylight savings or not, we can't all be together because some people would be getting up in the middle of the night. So we have 2 episodes, and you will be a full-time contributor. Each week there's a different topic, and you get to engage with the other women, of which Dr. Chan is one. And so it's a great way to build your credibility and build your network, and at the same time cost efficient. So that's $400 a month. Then we also have the ability to host your event. So for example, Janetta Barry, who founded the Epiphany Process, we've run her events across our platform several times. I think it was twice actually. And so we would charge $199 an hour to produce and distribute and market all of that. All right, and the last part is advertising. How cool is this? You have something to say, and we run your sponsorship on our shows. So depending on what it is that you're promoting, and I'll give an example. We had a show yesterday, 2 days ago, I think, Holistic Health Solutions with Julie, who's amazing. And so it's all about holistic approaches. And so she had someone on from Mile High Cleaner that was talking about cleaning of bongs, etc. And so that was a great, very informative piece, but that wouldn't be appropriate per se on all of the shows, because certain people want to have certain types of information shared on their show, if that makes sense. So that's one example that I can give, but we'd love to have you as a sponsor, and the fee here is rather minimal. So it's $177 a month plus a $57 one-time setup fee. Now, what does this mean? What it means is we'll run your ad multiple times a week, multiple times a month for $177. So to me, that's a true gift. All right, so that's what I want to share there for that page. Next, I want to show you, let's see, the education platform that we just heard somewhat from Dr. Chan. So in addition to being the founder and the producer, the host of this platform, I'm also a certified life, career, and executive coach. And it's my pleasure to teach people how to listen at an elevated level. We've developed quizzes for people to test their knowledge. And the interesting thing is everybody thinks they're a great listener. Guess what? No, you're not. We all have room for improvement, including me. Why? Because we get very emotional about things. And when we become emotional, we no longer are listening. When someone says, I like vanilla ice cream, and you're thinking, I hate vanilla ice cream, zip, you already closed off your ears, and now you're in your judgment. So I teach people how to listen. And Dr. Chan and I together have created courses like what she shared with you. So I'm just going to also mention that actually next week, I will be in person presenting at the Cape May County Library, setting boundaries and asking permission. We have tons of testimonials of people who've taken the courses. And then I'm going to get into the books in a minute. So I'm also an author. But here we have right on this website, you think you're a great listener, fabulous, take the quiz, let's find out. Get the information. We come back to you and we say, hey, by the way, you scored X. Are you interested in learning how to listen at an elevated level? Because your score indicates that there's some area for growth. So I want to stop there. And then I want to talk a little bit about my personal branding, and then I'm just going to wrap it up. So my other website is drjacalyn.com. And we can see it right here. And this is actually the website that we started with when it was Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. And so in terms of branding and in terms of growth, we've grown so much that it made sense for me to separate my personal brand from the business brand. So in the case in the future for collaborations, then everything is separate. So under this website, drjacalyn.com, this is where we have courses that we just talked about. We also have the ability for you to get certified. And this sincerely brings complete joy to my heart. I can't even tell you. So to join our team in the capacities that I just shared, you have to become an elevated listener. What does that mean? That means that you take a 2-hour course and you get certified. And you can see there's Hey Ape right there. And so your certificate goes onto our website along with your headshot. And you can use the certificate on any of your websites or in your LinkedIn because it really does distinguish you from someone else. And how do I know this? Because when I'm teaching the courses of how to listen at an elevated level, I'll ask the people there in the audience, how much do you feel you're being listened to, or how well does your partner listen to you? And there's always stories. Sometimes people start crying. I had a woman recently in a course, and she said, my daughter told me that I never listened to her, and therefore I'm not allowed to interact with my grandchildren. And she just started sobbing. And that kind of pain, when you get into a situation where there's certain behavior patterns and one person's not listening to the other, it can be heartbreaking. It can be heartbreaking. It can ruin the relationship. So that's what it is that I wanted to share about that. And then the other thing I want to share is about my books. The children's books bring such joy. Dr. Chan has worked on some of them with me. And I have to say, every single one of the books has been an Amazon bestseller or a top new release. Now, what are the odds of that happening? So we have an incredible illustrator, and we also have an amazing editor and my book coach, Mr. Red O'Laughlin. So I want to just show you the books. I have them here, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about them. Okay. The first book, the one we started out with was, and I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, was The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the listening mentor. Woo! Lady Ella is this beautiful ladybug on the back, and you'll see she's wearing her little necklace, Ella. And all the books are dedicated to my great niece, Ella. There she is. And of course, she's now 2.5. So as the books they come out in order, you'll see she's growing up so quickly. So the other thing I want to mention is, in addition to there being a lesson to learn in the book, there's also something about life. So there's listening skill lessons and there's life lessons. And each of the animal characters on the book cover represents a real person who took my course that I just told you about. So for example, here's Janetta Barry. And in this book, she's Sicaliza, the lion. So she is featured in this book. You'll see her on the cover here. So that's the first book. Lady Ella goes to Gentle Farm, and she helps the farm animals and the wild animals learn how to communicate. The next book, Lady Ella's ABCs of Listening. Dr. Chan wrote this one with me, as well as Mariska Dupria. And Mariska wrote the last one with me as well. And here's Lady Ella in this one. And in this particular book, after Lady Ella leaves Gentle Farm, she goes to the School of Joy. And there's a talent show that's taking place at the School of Joy. And Lady Ella has to work with Dr. Chan's character, who's Miss Crystal, I think. And Miss Crystal helps all of the animals who are going to compete in the talent show learn how to listen to each other. There's also a poem in here. There is sheet music. I mean, it's pretty cool. We actually wrote this song, Listening Lazies, and we have a video that's available. And actually the audio is on Spotify, and it's on Apple Music. So we wrote this song together with La La Music, and it's pretty cool. So Lady Ella leaves there. She says goodbye to everyone, and then she goes over to have afternoon tea in London. And KIM-ADELE, I know that you're in one of these books. Which one are you in, dear? I think you're in Africa, Baobab Tree. I'm not sure. So she goes and has afternoon tea in London, and then she has to interface because one of the animals, which happens to be Justin, who is just on, he doesn't bring enough food for the rest of the animals. And he's not really thinking about everyone else. So we learn lessons, not Justin, but the animal. So this one was also with Dr. Chan. There you go. Thank you. And we're actually out of time, so I'm not going to be able to go through the rest of those books. I want to leave you with this. This I consider to be my calling card, and this is my heart and joy. So this is my business card. This is Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. And in this book, you'll find case studies, you'll find testimonials, all to help you learn how to listen. My next book is coming out. It's a series of 7, and the next one is about how to listen in love. So love languages and in relationships, it's a labor of love. And then finally, many of you know I have ulcerative colitis, which stays with me every day. It's never, I mean, I'm in remission right now, but it's 34 years, and every day I'm leaving the house thinking, is it okay to leave right now? Well, I wrote this book called Blonde, Sexy, and Hot as Shiites, Beauty, Brains, and Ulcerative Colitis. And this book, to me, is so cool because in here is the story about how I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and that's my mother who just passed away. But how I felt so dirty and that no one would ever love me, and then I was diseased and just a loser because I have this disease. And I actually felt that way until 2018 when I met the Crohn's Colitis Foundation. And sometimes it still pops in my head, but we have to push those thoughts aside, as we heard earlier today. So I'll leave you with this as I close out. I just want to share my screen one more time. As authors, we don't make any money. It's hard. I can't see everyone. I'm not making money from being an author, but I would love to have you go over here and check out these books. It's hard to get reviews, as you can see, but all the books are here, and it's really been a joy. I've got coloring books, we've got holiday books, and they're all in the Lady Ella genre. And here's the Creative Hearts Awakening book that Dr. Chan and I also worked on together with a number of people who made their contributions. And we're looking for people to come into the second book. So we've still got some space there. So I'm going to, I think this is where you are, KIM-ADELE. Yes, there you are. There's your 2 little characters, right? Let me bring you back up. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Okay, hi. Which 2 characters are you?
The little lion, which was for Scarlett because her favorite teddy bear is Lenny the lion, and then Riff Raff the giraffe is actually for Pudding, my little dog.
That's great names. Let's see if we can blow it up so people can see it better. There you go. So cute. All right, fabulous. Well, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to bring back Dr. Chan. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. What would you like to share as we close out our event today, KIM-ADELE?
I just think, one, I'd like to thank you on behalf of all of us that are part of this channel, because without you, we wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be able to, one, learn and inspire, and 2, I love the fact that you are championing listening, because listening is an act of love. And I believe that we have got really bad at it, and we listen to interject, not to understand. And so all the work you're doing around elevating that listening to understand what the other person's saying rather than to interject on our own, is such a game changer. And I'm super grateful to be part of the platform.
Thank you. I'm super grateful to have you here as well. It's always a joy. Dr. Chan.
I would like to add, first and foremost, Dr. JACALYN, I feel that your divine mission about elevated listening, you are going to bring your concept, your mission, you're going to bring peace to the world. Because if we all listen, really thoroughly listen, then we're not going to have misunderstandings. And misunderstandings as in personal and family, and then on a global, on an international level, and then a global, and then going political as well. They should listen to each other. for real. And you will be doing that. You've been put on that global planetary power of elevated listening. It is a higher sense.
Well,
And
thank you, Dr.
Feel
Chan.
so
And
blessed. Feel so blessed to be on the mothership. Really do. As part of the team, doing presenting, just being part of the community of listeners, just being part of the crew. We're your crew. And everybody else is in your crew. Well, we need new recruitments because you're probably going to have another sister ship that's part of another ship.
well, we do keep growing. We started a new show today, which that's how I wanted to close out.
Wow.
Let's just take a look at our newest team member. He and I started together at RVN Television in 2017 or 18, actually an in-person television station. And then we lost touch and now he's back. So let's just run this as we close out. You'll see what it is. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Unstoppable Podcast. No matter where you are right now or what circumstances you face, lasting success is within your reach. Starring Ralph Graves Jr., author of the book Unstoppable. Ralph is a pastor, transformational speaker, and consultant. Follow Ralph on social media at Ralph Graves Jr. Unstoppable Podcast Wednesdays on USA Global TV and Radio. You are unstoppable. Woo! That's what I was doing last night. Yeah, I love making sponsorships. So much fun.
I love your voice. I love the voiceover podcast. I love it. And he's unstoppable. He's powerful.
Very powerful. So anyway, welcome to Ralph. And I'll just run through something else and then we really do have to go. I keep saying we're going. So I just want to show you, this is the show I was talking about, the holistic alternative with Julianne Mejia. And she's doing phenomenal work. She actually has several patents pending on her products, which is really cool. And then, as I mentioned before, royal breaking news. We also have a new one, Spread Your Wings. Thank you to Dr. Chan for the referral. And of course, we have this Saturday, the Women in Business Empowerment Show, the Elena Cardone Project. And Dr. Chan, I just wanted to give a shout out to you for the film and music show. We've got a new show coming up with my dear friend who is in China. She's going to be joining us. And then, of course, we have Zane Carson Carruth, Elegance, Polished Demeanor, Posh Living. We also have, as I mentioned, this. I'm just going to go through KIM-ADELE, Where Are You? This. Here we go. All right. So thank you both for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Just so honored, so blessed, really. Just
all right, enjoy your
viewers.
Yes, thank you to our viewers. We will be back on Saturday with part 2. So stay tuned for that. All right, that's a wrap, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. We thank you for being here, and we're going over to our sponsors. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the Secrets of Visual Impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you. This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com, ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.